All right, welcome everybody to the meeting of the Zoning Commission. I'll now officially call this meeting to order. Today is May 13th, 2026. Don't really have any special announcements today, but I do, again, want to welcome you all here. Thanks for taking part in this, whether you're coming to present a case to us or you're just watching or you've got something to say about one of the cases. I think it's important that we participate in government when you can. So this is your city. I'm glad you're here and you care about it. One note to remind all of us up here, commissioners, remember that these mics are just always on, so just don't press anything. Just be mindful that they're on, and then whenever you want to speak, speak. So, all right, Dave?
Welcome to the May 13th, 2026 Zoning Commission meeting and public hearing. Today's meeting agenda can be found online at www.fortworthtexas.gov. Speaker registration forms must have been turned in prior to the start of the meeting. Today's public hearing is being documented by cable television, and a recording will be available on the city's website. Cases heard at this public hearing are to be heard at the June 9th City Council hearing unless otherwise stated on the agenda. To achieve a timely and orderly meeting, the Commission requests that the following rules of procedure be respected. Each case will be called in the sequence listed on the agenda unless otherwise directed by the chair. All ensuing dialogue shall be directed to the Commission only. After staff presentation, the applicant in support will be given a maximum total of 5 minutes to present their case. Opposition may then speak for a maximum total of 7 minutes. At the conclusion of opposition, the applicant will be provided 2 minutes for a rebuttal. Those that are not able to speak today are encouraged to submit comments or sign up to speak at City Council. Sign-ups to comment or speak at City Council begin the Friday before the scheduled hearing. Continuation beyond the speaker's allotted time will be subject to the chairman's sole discretion and approval. All other meeting procedures will adhere to board-adopted rules of procedure to the extent possible. Following the official close of each case hearing, the Commission will remain in open session to discuss and vote upon the item in question. During this time, no further public comment, no further public testimony or commentary will be allowed unless directed by the chair. A closed executive session may be held with respect to the posted agenda items to enable the Commission to receive advice from legal staff. For additional information on any case on today's agenda, you may contact the Development Services Department by calling 817-392-8028. Mr. Chair, the first order of business is roll call. The Zoning Commission requires a quorum of 6 members to be present and available for voting. Please be advised that it takes 6 members to approve a zoning case. The following members are present today. Chairperson Raines. Commissioner Trujillo, Commissioner Welch, Commissioner McCoy, Commissioner Edmonds, Commissioner Robinson, Commissioner Pierce, Commissioner Rogers, and Commissioner Werman, and Commissioner Castro. There are a total of 10 out of 11 commissioners present. Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the previous month's minutes.
All right, do we have a motion to approve last month's minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the last month's minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Edmonds and a second by Commissioner Werman.
Members of the Commission, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson. Aye. Commissioner Pierce. Aye. Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the minutes are approved.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started with our first case.
The first case on this afternoon's agenda is a continued case, which is ZC-26-039. The address is 2801 Northwest Loop 820. The applicant is Marion Sampson Co., Steve Riordan, Westwood Professional Services, and the request is from A5, One Family Residential, and AG Agricultural, to I Light Industrial.
All right, is the applicant present? Welcome.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Is this on? Okay, good.
Yep.
Travis Clegg with Westwood Professional Services. We are the consulting engineer on this project. Quickly give you an overview of the project. The property has been owned by the Marion Sampson family for more than a century. The Sampson family has played an important role in the Fort Worth community through significant civic and land contributions, including the Marion Sampson Park, the Buck Sampson Park, Fort Worth Stock Show, and the Fort Worth Rodeo. The Sampson family is actually a partner in this development, along with the developer today. The proposal, I think we can kind of go to the next, there we go. Next slide, please. So the proposal is for 4 buildings, all for roughly 200,000 square feet or less on the property. Our proposed zoning is going from ag to PD light industrial. Thank you, sir. We continued the case last month because we wanted to have further dialogue with our councilman, Carlos Flores, and with some neighborhood groups in the area. Along with the PD, we decided to remove many of the unsavory uses, including data center, on this site. But because of its nearby industrial to the east, which was rezoned, I believe, last year, we are also asking for an industrial use along the highway here. So some of our benefits versus what's happened already along the highway. We are nearly doubling our setback to any proposed residential use that would be near us. We are proposing 35% minimum open space on the site, unlike our neighbors. We have zero access along any residential street or other street outside of the highway and access road. We believe that's a benefit versus putting truck traffic and residential traffic mixing together, unlike our partners or our neighbors. And we're also working with the land on this proposed site. So one of the issues being sight lines and sight vision. If I can fast forward here to the next. So here's kind of a general site plan. The green is the open space we're planning on preserving. The blue buildings are what we are preparing or proposing on the site. The orange, red-orange is existing, already approved zoning for industrial immediately adjacent to us. Here's another site plan of how those buildings would look versus what's out there today. This would be a sight line from the existing neighborhood main entrance off of 820, looking at what our proposed buildings would look like versus the tree canopy that blocks the site. Our site drops roughly 50 feet across the site, and so we are working with the land to drop our site below what we think is a visible horizon from the existing neighborhood. This would be an example of the exterior view of the proposed buildings. I got 2 slides of these just to kind of show you, give you an idea of what would be on the site. Obviously, unless you were actually on the site, you wouldn't see this from the road because of the topography and the trees. And here's a rendering of what the site would look like. So again, we're proposing 35% open space. We're looking at doubling our setbacks that we would be required to have to an existing residential use. So we're doubling our setbacks, and we're taking away all of the uses you see on here that were kind of unsavory to typical neighborhoods at the request of the councilman, to be very clear. So I'll go back to the site real quick. So meetings, we've had several meetings with Councilman Flores. Again, we continued the case at his request to have these conversations. We recently met with last week the Far Greater Northside Historical Neighborhood Association and presented our case. They had zero formal opposition to this case, and that is the overlaid neighborhood association for this area. We've also met with Cabalito Del Mar HOA, and they have supported us. That is the residential use. I'll go back to an overall site plan here. The neighborhood to the west, that is Cabalito Del Mar, and they have supported our industrial case. We've also reached out to the Northwest Fort Worth Neighborhood Alliance and the Marine Creek Community Association. Both don't overlay the site at all. They actually start north of 820 and go further north. But we've reached out with zero opposition as well. The only comment we heard was they may be able to see the site from the trail that's on the north side of the highway. They may be able to see the buildings, which I think may be a stretch. It does sit up higher, but our site sits down pretty low, 50 feet below the highway. So again, our project is adjacent to recently approved industrial that's already been done by this commission. We have better benefits, we have better setbacks, we have better open space. We have restricted our uses, including data centers, and we have support from our neighborhood association to the west and have not received any formal opposition to this date. And that's my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thanks, Travis. If you would hang out for a minute, I don't have any opposition that I know of if I'm speaking out of turn. I have a stack full of papers up here if you're wondering why,
Do you have an
why I
estimate
say
on,
this.
the large truck traffic that this would add to that area?
Yes, the truck traffic will be highway-based only, unlike the industrial to the east, which would conflict with neighborhood, multifamily and residential that already use those access roads or already use those public city streets. We would be impacting 0 city streets, 0 impact to neighborhood streets that the city would maintain, only highway access on and off the highway.
So the problem is with Azle Avenue right there, currently, those that live on the north side, if they have to use the service road to get to Azle Avenue to get on 820 at any point.
So once you
That
get
can
to the
take
intersection
up
you're talking
to
about,
20 minutes on any average day just to get on the highway from there because of the traffic that's backed up already.
again, operating in business hours, I think would be a little bit different on how the traffic, the residential traffic hits. But I do understand your point. When you get to the intersection of where Azle Avenue hits the access road, that there will be truck traffic and residential traffic there. But different from putting traffic on city streets, which is what's already out there today.
Hey, Travis, just for clarification, your presentation shows PD light industrial, but the staff report just has light industrial. Is that because you're excluding?
So the
Businesses?
original notification that went out was light industrial. Then we continued it. And because we haven't re-notified for PD light industrial, we're requesting a more restrictive use here today to be PD light industrial with the uses removed.
And
So
we can
it
do
is-
that without having to have another hearing or continue it now.
Commissioner, you're
Since
correct.
it's
It is
more
currently
restricted.
Notified as light industrial. I'm asking for a more
You're
restrictive.
not
use.
asking for a waiver for site plan or anything like this?
No.
Okay, and on that, this is for staff. Since they are restricting all these uses, is there an echo or is that just me? Or would staff be more open to something like this now that they're restricting? You want to comment on, because obviously this has changed since we talked about it in the work session.
Right. I would suggest that if you are excluding additional uses and you are increasing setbacks, that I do not believe that staff would support this less or be in a have a stronger opposition. Obviously, it's still not aligning with the comprehensive plan.
Yep.
But with the increased setbacks, with the excluded uses, certainly just objectively, you feel like this is a more, I suppose there's less risk in the potential developments just on the surface of what the ask is.
Can we go back to the restricted uses real quick? Okay, there it is. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, at least for me, more appealing. Is the idea just supposed to be, this is just warehouse,
Correct.
That's all it is?
Correct.
Okay. Now there's no chance that a new owner takes over and they can put all these, start galvanizing, or any of these other things that people don't necessarily want to live by. So, well, anyone have any questions?
Just one question quickly. On this access road that provides access to the site, is that two-way or one-way?
It is one way, eastbound only.
It's one-way?
Correct.
And is it one-way from the west?
It goes westbound to eastbound, so it's eastbound traffic only. So on this
Service road
site,
of Loop
you see
820, basically.
you can see a gas well site on the exhibit. So it would be going to the left on this picture on the bottom.
The access road is one-way?
Correct.
So where do you gain access?
The previous intersection, we'd have to get off the highway
How far is that?
half a mile.
Yeah, you have Azle Avenue to the west, and then you have Marine Creek Parkway to the east would be your next on-ramp to get back on 820.
Okay. What I'm asking about really is, what kind of mixes are gonna be between traffic coming to and from the site and the nearby residential development?
So you already have Ritchie Brothers, which is on the north side of 820 right there, which anytime they have an auction going or getting ready to go, they always have to hire Fort Worth PD to handle traffic flow because it's so bad.
Okay.
Any additional traffic
Good.
just makes it.
That's on the other side of the highway.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Travis, I don't know if you mentioned it or I missed it. What looks like it would fit maybe an accessory use or ancillary business in the front there, is that an available pad site that's still treed? That's right there, or is that set to be a buffer?
We're setting our site plan back.
Okay.
So it's kind of at an angle because of where the topo works and where the site works. That the front corner of that building is about as close as we can get to the highway, which means the backside of that building is a little skewed further away. Plus, there's a gas well site that restricts our building being any closer to the gas well setbacks.
Any other questions?
Travis, do you have a plan for lighting? I don't see it on your rendering.
I don't have a plan for light, probably typical down lighting, obviously not to impact any residents nearby, obviously.
This is a 24/7 facility?
I would believe it's a 24/7 facility, yes, sir.
Thank you.
I've got one last question. Would you have an issue if we decided to require a site plan?
No, I mean,
Okay,
it just has us come back. When you do site plans up front,
yeah.
and you tweak anything, we're back in front of you every time we want to add a parking
If
spot.
it comes up after you sit down, just
Sure.
curious. Okay. All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
Travis.
Commissioners. Appreciate it.
At this point, since we don't have any opposition, we'll close the public hearing and have some discussion and a motion. Commissioner Trujillo, do you have any comments you want to lay out first?
So if they add the exclusions, we can still move this forward to council?
Yeah, we would just need the motion would need to say that, it's a PDI. We wouldn't need to list the restrictions, would we?
Yes.
We
you
would? Okay.
You would have to do,
So if-
basically you would have to read that slide. So it'd be a PDI with development standards for open space and building setbacks, and you would have to read those, and then excluding the following uses, and then read all those uses.
So if you feel like this is something you want to try and approve, yeah, you're going to Chris's point, read all that. My comment now is, with all these exclusions, it certainly sounds better. And with I know the traffic is a concern. It's currently A5, and so if this was developed as A5, I mean, you could probably argue that adds more traffic. And it's not 18-wheeler traffic, but it's more cars, more traffic. So, and to me, like a comment I made on something else in our work session, it seems like this is where you would want like an industrial building right off the freeway. But
Yeah, as long as they have the good setback to the west, because that's where A5 is currently going to be built up to by that gas pad.
yeah, and they're, adding that setback and open space, so, yeah.
Yes, I would recommend it with all these listed exclusions.
Anybody else have any comments or opinions?
I'll just go ahead.
Legal,
Uh,
say something.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, Chris got his microphone.
Go ahead, Chris, sorry.
If the commissioner is uncomfortable reading it, I can read it and then just confirm that is going to be the motion, and then you guys can vote if that is. If
Yeah, I'm
there's
good
no
with
other-
that.
Are you okay not requiring a site plan? It's not on there, it was just an option.
No, I
but-
think we're good as long as we
Okay.
list the exclusions, so.
Perfect, okay.
So the
Yeah.
site plan is going to be waived or required?
No, the setback he's got on there, but just requiring a site plan is not something we want to add, so
Okay. So
it was just
site
an
plan
option.
waived, or I just want to make sure, because with a PD, by default, the requirement is that a site plan would be required. Even if
Oh,
you're
that's right,
silent,
yeah, okay.
the default
then
rule
let's-
would be a
That's right.
site plan would be required. So I just wanted to
Yeah,
make
let's
sure.
do a site plan then
Okay.
as a requirement.
Want to make sure. So the motion would be for a PDI with development standards for open space, which would be a minimum of 35% of the total site area, increased setbacks, 90 feet along the southwest property line, 80 feet along the southeast property line, all other per current code, and then exclude the following uses: correctional facility, SOBs, massage parlors, data centers, crematorium, tattoo parlors, probation or parole offices, coal, coke, or wood yard, taxidermy shop, bar, tavern, dance hall, towing yard with office, massage therapy and spa, machine shops, galvanizing, assaying, water treatment facility, transient food vendor. A site plan required. Is that the motion that you wish to approve?
Correct, that is the motion.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a
Second.
second? Okay. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Trujillo and a second by Commissioner Werman.
Okay, commissioners, how do you vote? Chairman Raines,
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Welch,
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy,
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds,
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson,
I will need to abstain from this vote.
Commissioner Pierce, Commissioner Rogers,
Aye.
Commissioner Werman,
Aye.
and Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 9-0, the zoning commission recommends to approve the request. Next case, ZC-26-042. The address is 100 to 500 blocks of Farmer Road, which is FM 3325 at I-20. The applicant is John Henry Dean and the Shirley Lawson Foundation, Michael Trenery, Stand Ridge Companies, Westwood Professional Services. The request is from Unzoned with an annexation companion case of AX-25-006 to Tract 1, which is 60.023 acres, to G Intensive Commercial, and Tract 2, that totals 124.365 acres, to PD Plan Development for all uses in G Intensive Commercial, I Light Industrial, R1 Zero Lot Line Cluster, R2 Townhouse Cluster, UR Urban Residential, D High Density Multifamily with a maximum of 2,000 multifamily dwelling units and excluding A5 One Family Residential Development, permanent asphalt or concrete batch plants, and data centers, plus development standards for multifamily uses to have a maximum height of 48 feet within 250 feet of one-family uses, light industrial fences, walls, screening fences, and railings allowed on or near the property line, chain link fencing not permitted, MFD site plan waiver requested, PD site plan required.
Welcome back, Travis.
To today, so you don't get to see me that often. Again, Travis Clegg with Westwood Professional Services. We're the consulting engineering firm working on this case before you. The site is roughly 185 acres. I can get to an exhibit here. Go back. So this site is, too far. There we go. So this site is roughly, is on I-20 on the highway and Farmer Road, a very high-growth area, obviously Walsh Ranch and the successes of Walsh Ranch are to our east, Morningstar to our north, and then obviously the Dean Ranch conversations on the south side of the properties that you guys are probably aware of. Um, This case will have a companion case for annexation as well, so we are not currently in the city of Fort Worth. We're in the ETJ, so we are voluntarily annexing the property into the city of Fort Worth for service for water and sewer and zoning for the site. The comprehensive plan calls for that corner to be a commercial corner. That's what we want to do, general G commercial. Our vision is probably for some large retail, big box type retail on the corner. That is our goal there, but it's also our vision that the backside of the property have a mix of options because we don't have an end user at this time. And so in working with the city, we kind of came up with some ideas on limiting some uses, and one of those being single-family detached residential units, mainly because it's a valuable commercial corner. We don't want single-family housing, in my opinion, from a land use perspective, on the highways, fronting our highways. And so, so our uses we wanted to have were an industrial option, limiting certain uses. The city allowed for some UR, some compact, dense residential. If that were to be the case, I would say that's our least likely option. That's kind of a fallback position. And we wanted the ability to do some multifamily back there in case we wanted to do some residential, dense residential, which makes sense on a high volume highway and road like Farmer Road. So we wanted a commercial use, a commercial tax base, which the city is favorable on. We just kind of get a little bit different when it comes to what the city wants to see on the frontage of the highway, which is more of a mixed use site. Our struggle is that I've got 1 million square foot of mixed use to the east to Walsh to compete with. I've got 200 acres of Dean Ranch Bell property of mixed use across the highway to the south, and I've got Willow Park with their mixed use program a mile down the road. It's a struggle to put that much mixed use on the ground and for it to be anything compatible. So that is why we have industrial as an option. Obviously, with the conversations regarding data centers here lately, I was called immediately by Michael Crane, Councilman Michael Crane, and requested to remove the data center use specifically for this site, which we volunteered to do. And so we continued the case last month so that we could formally notify that to make sure the residents in the area knew that we were not going for a data center. And so our zoning case is going to be a PD on the back end, allowing industrial, light industrial, but not allowing data centers on the site, period. If data centers were ever contemplated, we'd have to come back before this zoning commission and city council to have that conversation. So our goal moving forward is the track one being your commercial frontage along Farmer and the highway, and we call it the back half of the property, the westernmost side, the side towards Willow Park, being a mix of options of uses, including industrial and some UR dense residential and multifamily. But again, the goal right now is not to do a residential use. The goal is to have a commercial tax base on this corner, which is desperately needed in Fort Worth, as we all know. So that's our request today, is to move forward with approval of our zoning with those uses. I can't think of any better uses than commercial on the corner and industrial along a highway with access right off the access road on the outskirts of our city. Thank you.
Thanks, Travis. Any questions before we bring up the opposition? Okay. We do have one person signed up to speak in opposition. Is that correct? Is anybody else here? Okay. And while you're walking up here, just again, to clarify, because there are two different tracks with different zoning, but if this were to be approved, a data center would not be able to be built on this property. I know sometimes the wording of this stuff is confusing, and maybe you don't trust the applicant, but I can tell you we talked about it earlier, and there's no way in its current zoning that could happen. So, welcome.
Hi, and I'm also very new to this, and I'm sorry for the ruckus we
No, you're
caused.
fine.
I live in Walsh Ranch, and we're we're a picture of Walsh Ranch. We're just young families, and we're just here trying to protect our way of life. We don't get involved a lot. You don't see a lot of us because we're doing this during the day. And so, Travis is a good guy. We've spoken about this land, but this is the land that we live right next door to, and we look at every day. And I think our biggest issue as a community is the light industrial. I know data centers have come out, which thank you, Travis. That was a big, we were all very worried about that, but. We don't really want any of the industrial, and I know that may be naive, but we're all just here trying our best, trying to protect our kids' futures and our way of life. So I think our issue is with the light industrial and what that means exactly, and I know he said warehouses, but what happens if they go? And as well as, the commercial is going to come regardless, but do we need another Dick's? Do we need another Home Depot down the exit from another Home Depot across the street? There's an Ace down the road. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about it. We're glad you're here.
I think
All that to say is we're just trying to ask that this land is some of the most beautiful land. I don't know if you guys are familiar or if you've seen it, but it's just the most beautiful land. All those rolling hills out in West Fort Worth. So I think we're just encouraging you guys to be really thoughtful about that land and what it means for our kids. And sorry, I don't know why it makes me emotional. It's such an important part of my kids' lives because we see the cows every day, and I know the cows can't stay, but all that to say, I just, as I sit here thinking about our future and our way of life and my boys' future, I just want us to be really thoughtful of what that land really looks like and what that means for all the families that look like us. I'm so sorry. I don't.
No, don't
like
apologize.
this.
You're doing great. Keep it up.
This is so silly.
You're fine.
Anyways, so that light industrial is my biggest beef. The secondary being, I think we should be really thoughtful with that commercial. And again, we've got a Kroger coming across the street from an H-E-B, down the street from a Brookshire, down the street from another H-E-B in a Central Market. So I'm trying to avoid, if best I can, what's happening already on the other corner of Dean and be thoughtful with this land and make a really beautiful land something, if it's got to be something that's not the beautiful cows, something that adds to our lives, not just another Dick's, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any questions for the opposition? Okay. Great job, by the way. Travis, you got 2 minutes to rebut if you want it.
I think there was another opposition.
I'll tell you what I'll
Hold-
do, though. I'll sorry.
Sorry, Travis. Did someone else sign up? Okay. Would you mind? Yeah. You can come speak, but then when you're done, if you would fill out one of those forms. How much time do we have? It looks like we have about 2 minutes, so just have to make it quick, but let's hear what you have to say.
My name is Dorothy Willingham. My zip code is Weatherford, but I live just north of this tract of land. And I'm also opposed to the light industrial zoning. My reasons are mainly a lot of what the lady just spoke about, but the south side of 20 already has quite a bit of industrial use, and it's zoned for industrial, both light and heavier. So my feeling is rather than doing both sides of the freeway, let's keep all the industrial on the south. The commercial is going to come, the residential is going to come, but I don't think we need to put the industrial on both sides. This tract of land is within a half mile of a middle school, an elementary school, and 2 large churches. So I don't think that the roads in the area will not support that type of traffic that we're talking about with the warehousing and that type of situation. And the third reason that I have that I'm opposed is because Dean Ranch already owns 3 of the 4 corners of this intersection. They've got industrial on the other side of the freeway. They don't need to put industrial on the north side of the freeway. So keep it south. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, Travis.
So a couple of things real quick that were mentioned. So the Dean property to the south of the highway, I'm also working on. It was put into Willow Park. It's going through some litigation right now as to which city it should be in, but Robert Bell's plan for that is a mixed-use site with multifamily and commercial and what have you. So it's a true mixed-use site. There may be some small industrial, but that's not it's 90% going to be a commercial mixed-use site. Southeast part, the main 1,500 acres of Dean Ranch has been proposed single family. It's been proposed commercial along frontage for Alito. But I have not seen any land plans yet as I've worked on the site for industrial to date. That doesn't mean it can't happen. It's just not currently in the cards on the south side. There is some industrial southwest that's existing today, some kind of small warehousing type, not really high-end industrial that's in, I believe, Willow Park or ETJ Willow Park, not in the city. But in our case, we want to come into the city of Fort Worth. We want to be a viable tax base. We think the highest and best use is strong commercial corner, strong industrial, but using light industrial and limiting the type of industrial, because we do understand that there are other cars and traffic in the area. Our traffic, guys, is off the highway. We're not using city streets to get truck traffic in and out of this. We're coming in off the highway, going back on the highway. There may be a requirement to have another access point, but we don't have that site plan yet. We don't have end users yet to understand exactly what that traffic looks like. In any case, a traffic study will be required at the time of platting. A flood study will be required at the time of platting. Water and sewer studies will be required at the time of platting. We are just looking at land use, and is it appropriate to have a commercial corner and industrial along our highway at this location? That's my response.
Might hang out for a second in case there are questions. Questions for Travis?
Can we go back to the slide that shows the intersection and both sides of the highway?
Is that one, or you want a different
This
slide?
is okay.
On this exhibit, by the way, the HEB is proposed to go directly east of that yellow highlighted area. That is their commercial mixed-use area, east of the yellow block.
That's a lot of traffic.
You mean east of the proposed?
East of the proposed, where it's highlighted in yellow, or
Okay.
blurbed in yellow there.
Are you good? I'm going to ask a similar question that I asked you earlier. Since there is opposition about the industrial part, and I know you're trying to leave your options open since you don't have a buyer for that part yet, and I might have to check with Chris if in the event that we all like this minus that, can we remove that? Because that makes it more restrictive without renoticing. I don't know that he would let us do
the
it.
I,
What's that?
to just remove the I.
Uh-huh.
Well,
I mean, you.
the staff recommendation is denial of track 2.
Right, right. I'm just curious if, I just wanted us to have options, so I was just curious.
I mean, I guess you could do approve excluding,
Yeah.
approve all of the zoning excluding the I.
I just wanted to make sure
I don't think
legally
that
we could do that
there's- I
without
don't think there's
renoticing.
anything,
Now, then when I ask
legally-
Travis, he might say, I don't want
but
that, so.
obviously, I believe Travis
Yeah.
may have, but from a legal standpoint, on your motion, if you wanted to exclude the I, and then I don't see
Okay.
anything wrong.
Thank you, Chris.
I'll
So now that comes back to you. Would, in the event that when we have our discussion, if that were an option, like we like this minus
No,
that,
I think we want to keep the I.
just
I'd be
wanna
happy to
deny it
I'd
and
I'd
let
be
you
happy
come back.
to volunteer a site plan,
okay?
if that would help this commission make a decision. Because I think we're excluding a site plan in our application, but for track 2, where the industrial is, I'd be happy to submit
Oh, yeah, it
a
is.
site plan for review. And then the other part is, if you want to put mixed use on this thing, you're going to have twice the traffic and twice the cars. And if we're going to do that, then, and traffic is the issue, you're going to have way more, especially on the weekends.
Sure.
Because I live in Alliance, and I live in Alliance Town Center, and it's worse on Saturday and Sunday because of the mixed use part of it. than it is during the work week.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for
Well,
Travis?
But one point I'd like to make is that mixed use normally provides some services and some integration of the property with the nearby neighborhood, for instance, providing an office space or whatever. So it's somewhat more attractive, even though you're correct in making the point it might be more traffic.
It is, but I've also got Walsh Ranch, a 7,000 acre development with half of it being commercial and mixed use. The only residential piece of Walsh Ranch is already built. The rest of it, the 4,000 acres, is going to be commercial mixed use. And to compete with that is difficult.
All right. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate it. We'll close the public hearing and leave it open for some discussion. Sorry if that was confusing, Beth. I was just trying to give us some, if in the event we're like, because we heard all those comments about the industrial, just trying to see if we had a window there.
I appreciate that. I wouldn't mind getting fellow commissioners' opinions on a site plan required for track 2. Keeping it as I, but site plan required.
Waiver. It's actually on, staff was just pointing this out. Track 2 they already have a PD
Oh.
site plan required, so it's
Okay.
there.
It's there. Okay.
Yep, it's
Awesome.
already in there.
Even better. Okay. If no one has
Yes.
anything to say, I think.
Did you have who had a comment? Sorry. Commissioner Pierce? Okay. Commissioner Warman?
I had a question for
Yes.
Travis.
Yeah.
Travis, do you anticipate any roadway improvements from you guys on any of this? I know because you're not, using a bunch of city stuff, but
So
is there a future need for volume? I know TxDOT's going to have to redesign the bridge and the intersection at some point down the line, but
yeah, good point. Very good point. So because we are volunteering to come into the city of Fort Worth, traffic impact fees will be required. And because of these uses, significant traffic impact fees will be part of that program. And the city's going to want us to build infrastructure versus writing checks to the city that they'll hold for future construction. So I would imagine there's going to be significant roadway improvements to Farmer Road. We can't do anything to TxDOT, right? Unless they direct us to, and we'll have to have that conversation at plating. But I would expect Farmer Road to be expanded to a 4-lane road. I think we would be responsible for probably the 2 lanes on our side. And part of that would be the traffic impact fee. So if we don't spend all that money on Farmer, we will be paying traffic impact fees to the city to make them whole for our impacts. So yes, I expect infrastructure improvements.
thank you.
Thanks, Travis. Do you have any other comments? Commissioner?
No, just for us, if we talk for a minute, but just, we have a lot of warehouse space and light industrial in District 10. I think the last maybe 7 years, 5-7 years, it's been planned out really well, and it's been very useful for building the tax base, but limiting city services. We don't have students for the school district to worry about either. And we've also seen a huge amount of money for our district from impact fees. Enough to cover significant roadway improvements. And being where this is and knowing that there's more that's coming out there, I am supportive of that because it helped get stuff done quicker as opposed to what happened in 10, what's happening in 6. We can prevent it in 3 by being ahead of the curve because we can't do the roads without the businesses. And the businesses aren't going to just show up one day because we spent millions of dollars building roads. They're going to go somewhere else and do their own thing, waiting for us to build our roads.
Where I am right now, track 1 seems kind of like slam dunk there. So it's track 2 that, gives me a little pause. But I'll go back to the traffic thing. So, if you've driven through here, it's under construction right now, so it's really bad. But certainly, more people are moving west. It's it's going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. And I think sometimes light industrial gets a bad rap you know, that like, "Oh, I don't want manufacturing going on next to my house. And I think there are good concerns, good reasons why that gets brought up, because people are afraid of noise, they're afraid of, you know, pollution and stuff like that, being close to a residential area. Or, you know, there are existing regulations outside of what we do that would keep the neighbors safe from the noise, from potential pollution. And this is, again, there's a big difference between light manufacturing and heavy manufacturing. And I definitely heard the comments about that, and you know, you're raising your family, and you're wanting to keep your kids safe. I understand that, and then balance that with all the people and all the traffic, and we talk about like working close to where you live. If we take out all the places like light manufacturing that provide jobs, people could work, somebody could live in Walsh Ranch and drive right down the road to their job, you know. So there's that stuff too. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I just want you to like hear another side of it, and then the traffic part too. I mean, if we were to deny that, and they would come back and say, okay, we'll do more commercial, which is what's, you know, the city is recommending with the comp plan. But I mean, the traffic's going to be way worse than, you know, some light industrial or, you know, something like that. So just something to think about, you know.
I agree. Okay, I think I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay.
I do know, as the applicant had stated, I do know Councilman Crane wanted to make sure that his constituents' voices were heard with removal of the data center and the other uses as they are listed here. I also think that with the PD site plan required for track 2 adds that extra layer here. So with all of that, I would move to approve ZC 26042
As requested.
as requested.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right. We have a motion to approve this case by Commissioner Welch and a second by Commissioner Edmonds.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce. Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the vote passes.
And before we call the next case, I know we're talking a lot up here, but I hope that is important to you that we're discussing these things. But if you would help us, if when you hear your case called, if you would just come up to the mic while he's reading the case, and that will help move things along a little quicker on that end. So go ahead.
Next slide, please. Next case is SP-26-006. The address is 15801 Championship Parkway. The applicant is Roanoke 35/114 Partners LP, Bill Becker, Serco Development Inc., Zach Johnston, KFM Engineering and Design, and David Pitcher. The request is to amend PD 1432 site plan to remove detached multifamily dwelling units.
There you are, the applicant here. Welcome.
Hi there. I'm Zach Johnston with Endeavor Real Estate Group. I think we have a quick presentation loaded. This is the staff report. Here's our presentation. We'll try to be pretty brief today, just in respect of everybody's time, but thank you for taking the time to listen to us. A little bit of our presentation includes some information about Endeavor Real Estate Group. We are out of Austin, Texas. We're a real estate investment firm. We also do a lot of development. We've capitalized over $5.5 billion of projects.
Could you speak into the microphone, please?
I'm sorry?
Could you speak into the microphone, please?
Sorry. We've actually done some development in Fort Worth on the left bank side. We've built some multifamily projects down there. And the first couple slides just gives you some information about our company. But in the essence of time, we'll move to the actual project. We're talking about a piece of land today just south of Texas Motor Speedway, part of a larger mixed-use development that's been, for the most part, relatively built out. We're just on the southwest intersection of I-35 West and 114. This is a zoomed-in view. We're talking about 17.2 acres. This has already been approved for multifamily and residential use. There's a previous site plan that was approved, which I will go to. This is actually just a side-by-side comparison. On the right is the previous site plan. On the left is the proposed site plan. The previous site plan was for residential use, and that site plan was approved. It includes, as you can see, a number of sort of cottage-style two-story structures that line the periphery of the site. This site never got built, and we've picked the site up and are working with the owners. Our perspective is that the two-story cottage townhomes aren't really viable in today's market, at least not for us economically. And so we're proposing to come back and build a more typical multifamily flats. In doing so, though, we've attempted to keep the general integrity of the site very similar, with pushing buildings to the frontage of the roads, internalizing the parking. We've lessened some of the previously approved standards. So all of our buildings are proposed to be 3 stories. Previously, the multifamily buildings that were in the center of the site were proposed to be 4 stories. And then we've worked with kind of the local neighborhood association to pull those buildings further away from the golf course to the west. You can see in the previous application, they had buildings right up on that southwestern border. We've pulled our buildings off of that and put in more amenities to kind of sit in between that. And so just as a quick overview, I mean, to date, in the beginning of the year, we met with staff to go through this. We had originally anticipated this was going to be an administrative approval, but it was decided that we would go through the full process here. And so since then, we've met with the North Fort Worth Alliance group. They're supportive of us and provided a letter of support. We've met with the Beechwood Park Association and spoken with them. They've also are supportive and provided us with the letter of support. Staff is recommending approval, and so, again, we're certainly here to answer questions that you guys may have, but in the essence of time, that's the general idea.
And I don't have anyone signed up to speak in opposition, so questions, commissioners?
Yes, I'd like to know how you're going to protect the dogs from all of the golf balls that are going.
We trust that everybody in Fort Worth can hit it straight.
So no, they don't. I promise. I've actually, and when we had this case last year, I asked the same question. You're putting buildings up against where people who suck at golf are going to hit the ball, like every day. So it's not anything that has to do with land use, in case the attorney's listening. I'm just telling you, man, don't be that guy on the news who killed all the dogs with the Titleist, okay?
Sure.
I don't necessarily like the huge increase in the units. I mean, when you look at it on paper, it's a pretty substantial increase. The 4-story component I actually don't mind, because it adds a different class typically of apartments as far as price goes. When you get more of those things, like when we're doing density and adding it to other developments, we're putting in 4-story buildings because we can charge a little bit more rent for those. Those are more expensive to maintain. It helps build the whole area up a little bit more. So those are components of it, I think, that were nice. That area is starting to get congested up quite a bit. What's your timeline, you think, if we say yes today?
The goal would probably be to start construction towards the end of this year, beginning of next year. From that point, it's usually around 12 to 15 months to getting to first delivery. So you're going to be into 2028 really before you get new units. On the density side, we really looked at the existing density caps. And so, at least in discussions, we weren't aware that there were really a concern on the density side. What we were looking at, and what the zoning talks about, is rentable square footage, and then overall FAR and first floor usage. And so we've decreased both of those significantly, but we're doing them in, again, more dense building structures.
Because I think what you're proposing now is more than 2 or 2.5 times the original density that was zoned when it was rezoned last year.
No, I think it was 352 units to 396 units. So you're talking about 10% more.
But from where we started, before all this. Last year, I was reluctant for the previous one to go through.
Mm.
Because it's more dense. It keeps getting more dense. And I realize that it's commercial corner. We just had the same case in Walsh. I get it. I'm just, curious about some of the decisions that were made to take out, the 4-story buildings. Is there an impact to what you're offering versus, or does it just fit better in the area, you feel?
I mean, it's certainly a cost issue. 4-story buildings require elevators, and in order to do the elevator buildings, you're going to a corridor-style product. And so it's just a more urban design. When you have 17 acres, I mean, for us, we really, obviously, you can see we didn't max the site out in terms of density. And so we really just tried to lay out something we thought was thoughtful that kept in line with what the previous project was. If we were to eliminate one of those buildings, that would probably get you to a similar unit count, and then you would just have additional open space because, again, you'd be eliminating more and more parking. And so we really just tried to thoughtfully design it. We didn't design it to a unit count. We designed it more so based on laying out what we thought made sense on the site. We wouldn't, in this case, necessarily look to a 4-story corridor product because that would just, again, it would bring more density stacked on top of each other and build a more expensive product that, yes, it would require higher rents, but those rents don't exist in that market. So we don't necessarily see the ability to charge the rents for the higher, more expensive product there.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, any other questions?
One question. I think the only thing that is of concern is the proposed building on the northwest part of the site and its proximity to residential and the setback. It looks like maybe you could redesign that so that and solve that problem easily by extending the building just south of it on the west side and make that a smaller building on the northwest side. You'd have better sight lines and you wouldn't be looking over people's backyards.
So the way that, and that's a great point, the way that, I don't know if I have a pointer on this. The way that that building orients, the units face north and south of the plan, not east and west. And so when you talk about units looking over somebody's backyard, we wouldn't have a case where you have balconies or you have unit or people sitting out actually looking into those backyards. That would be the side of the unit. That connection point off Collection was previously identified in the previous site plan, as was the same off of Champion Parkway. So again, in an effort to keep the character of the building the same, we kept the entrances at the same point. We can look at what that setback is, but we're still obviously in line with the setbacks required under the zoning. And so we can certainly look at redesigning that building if that's a concern.
Dave, looking at it, isn't it a sightline problem on that building?
And you're speaking of looking down from the upper units. And I believe it was just a 3rd story, but to your point there, I can see what you're looking at there. Yes.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Sure.
And I'll close the public hearing and leave it open for some discussion or a motion. And Commissioner Werman, this is your case.
Yeah, these are the tricky ones when we come in and start.
I remember we got this the first time and you were,
You start amending site plans and like, oh, it's not so bad. Oh, it's just a little bit more. Look, it's going to go through at council. It doesn't matter what we do up here. I'll be real honest.
There is more open space.
Yeah,
which like that part.
there's definitely benefits to it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not opposed to the idea of this being there at all. It's just the concern was raised last year, the year before that. Are we making this just like Presidio, where it is just, there's 5,000 units right down there.
Yeah.
And it is traffic hell 7 days a week. And this is a very tight spot, and they're about to rip 114 apart. So always trying to preserve that commercial land when we can. We lost this one, and now we're losing it a little bit more. I do like the open space for sure. Like, I'm not upset about it. I just wish it was less units. So I don't have much to say about it beyond that. I'm ready to make a motion.
All right. Go for it.
For SP 26-006, I move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Werman and a second by Commissioner Rogers.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce. Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the motion passes. Next case, ZC-26-013. The address is 1509-1521 Circle Park Boulevard and 1506 through 1520 Lincoln Avenue. The applicant is Premier Baptist Church, Irma Park LLC, Megan Lash and Abby Penner. The request is from CF Community Facilities to PDUR, Plan Development for All Uses in Urban Residential, excluding Government Office Facility, Museum, Library, or Fine Arts Center, Hospice, Country Club, Private, Golf Course, one family detached dwellings, one family attached dwellings, one family zero lot line attached or detached dwellings, two family detached dwellings and/or duplex / two family attached dwellings with development standards for no rear yard setback, no individual entries for street level residential units, and 93 parking spaces, site plan included.
Welcome to the Zoning Commission, and thank you for stepping up here early.
I follow instructions
Appreciate it.
well, so I wanted to make sure I did that correctly. Okay, so good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Reggie Jennings. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, so we'll go ahead and get started. Get to our application presentation. All right, so here we have Irma Park, and just a brief background on the applicant. So Oza Industries is a Texas-based and woman-owned firm with a long history of experience when it comes to affordable housing and the preservation of different asset types when it comes to affordable housing. We're not foreign to Fort Worth, have 7 developments, and you'll see some of those within our presentation as well. We utilize the Housing Tax Credit Program, federal and state tax credits, and we're proud to announce and just say in general that we have housed over 3,000 families across Texas. As we know, affordable housing is important in this landscape that we're living today. And when it comes to this, our overall company, just standards and how we go about doing business, we maintain long-term ownership within our communities, right? So we're just not in and out developers. We're here to make sure these properties stay up to code, stay up to speed, and are well served for those residents. We use federal and state best practices when it comes to hiring local contractors to continue to have those communities thrive and have those residents in that community be what's best for what they need to be. All right, so Irma Park, I know there's a lot written in the docket packet, so I won't go through all of these, but just some highlight points here. So Irma Park currently is Premier Baptist Church. It's going to be a conversion, so it's an adaptive reuse to senior affordable housing, which will be 55 years of age and older. Across our portfolio, when it comes to our senior housing, we're looking at roughly an age of 67 years of age and older. We're going to keep the 3, and you'll see on the site plan, the 3 buildings that are on the site, plus have a new 1-story construction building. I'll get into that here in a second. There'll be 84 units made up of 1- and 2-bedroom units, and the majority of that unit count will be 1-bedroom units. So 75% of the unit count will be 1-bedroom units. From a historic standpoint, we're actually in the process of getting registered on the National Historic Designation Registry, and we have our determination of eligibility letter from the Historic Commission as well. So I'll pause here for a second, let you all look at obviously the 3 buildings, but there's a sea of parking right there, and I'll talk about that here in a second, and just how this will all play out as we move forward in this conversation. So just some of the feedback you heard over in work session from Enrique, who did a great job with his presentation. We've been through an extensive process when it comes to getting to this point today. We've met with HCLC and the UDC, and from both of those commissions, we've received unanimous approval when it comes to the AC overlay and for the requested waivers. And as mentioned in work session, not going to dive too deep in them, but the 3 requested waivers we have was it rear yard, primary structure, setback, which in layman's terms, we would have to move the building physically to do that, and I'm not sure that the community would want that, and I know for sure as developers, we don't want to do that as well. That'll take quite a bit of time. Parking spaces, we've asked for that reduction because historically, seniors don't drive or have cars that often, right? Or they carpool. So, and as you saw on the previous slide, a sea of parking, having that many parking slots there just wouldn't be advantageous for the development. And then from an individual street-oriented entry points, we've had numerous meetings with community members, and the seniors spoke up and spoke out and said, hey, safety is a concern of us. Having those walk-up units directly into our actual units off the street is not something that we're a fan of. We heard them, we listened, and we requested that waiver. We're happy to announce and say that we got that approved by the UDC. As you know in your packet, we're currently zoned community facilities and are looking to be rezoned to planned development, urban residential, and obviously here today pending a vote from you all, and then this will, along with the UDC and ACLC, will be packaged together and it will go to City Council for a vote in June. So why are we rezoning to the PD and UR? First and foremost, to continue to expand the housing options within the North Side, right? Majority of the housing options in North Side are single-family homes. You got some townhomes from here and there. So just continuing to just be able to enhance and make sure residents have an opportunity to stay there, right? We know that sometimes when seniors are living in single-family homes, they want to downsize, and not for most, but for a good portion of them, going down to an apartment complex is the best use for them as well. So providing them with that opportunity. And what we've come to learn and know about the North Side, they're big on their history. They have a very strong cultural and community-based foundation. So understanding that this church has been around for quite some time, 1900 time frame, right? So it's seen the test of time across in America from the Great Depression, World Wars, things of that nature. And if I'm not mistaken, it was there it was annexed, if I'm not mistaken, Megan, from Fort Worth before it actually became a part of Fort Worth. So it's a long history of there for that community. So we want to make sure we preserve that and keep that site intact. One of the things we want to do with the planned development portion is protect the community, right? So by restricting certain uses, and you see that there, and it was listed obviously in the packet. And there's an asterisk, as you can see, next to single-family duplex and townhomes. Throughout our numerous meetings that we have had with community members, they speak about our property tax is going to go up. Our direct answer is no, because you can't compare a multifamily apartment complex to a single-family home. It doesn't go like that. So in order to ensure that, God forbid this does not go forward, whoever came in behind us would have to adhere to something that wouldn't negatively impact them going down the line. Urban residential, as noted in section 4.713A, we're looking to promote walkability, architectural diversity, which is going to be there because of when it was constructed and all those things, and then providing affordable housing and mixed income communities. And just from the simplest term, the CF designation, our proposed development does not obviously fit its primary use, which is based in health, safety, and education. One important piece, go ahead. That's
Real
5
quick,
minutes.
sorry. No,
Okay.
you've got about a minute left. I was just
Okay.
going to warn you in case you wanted to speed up or.
Yeah,
slow
I could do
down,
that. Yeah, so good thing we'll be on the tax roll, so we're adding to the tax base. I know that's always a good thing to say when we're here as well, so that's a fact. So here's a proposed site plan. I'll speed through this real quick. You'll see that in the purple, dark blue on the right side of the plan, those existing buildings will stay and they will be renovated. Key additions, we're adding plenty of trees, proper lighting across the property and drive aisles. It's gonna be a green space down there that we're actually actively working with the community to figure out how to best program that for them and for those seniors. Once again, the landscaping plan, plenty of trees, lighting, good function and flow when it comes to being in and out of the property. Some elevations. And this part of the development is right next to a single-family development, and it'll be able to be at a reasonable height.
Now your final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Obviously, we're here to best support and provide an opportunity for the residents to stay within Northside. Keeping a historic aspect of this building is important, and just making sure that we're here to best support and hear from the community members. So thanks for your time.
Thank you, Reggie. And Megan, were you just here for questions? Okay. And we don't have anybody here in opposition, so do y'all have any
You
questions?
guys pursuing local historical designation as well?
Yes, sir.
as National? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did I miss it? But is the new proposed building, the one-story building, is that for common space, living units?
Living units, ma'am.
All, okay.
Yes,
so there's
ma'am.
really no common space, like.
There will be
public-
common space within the development, so
Okay.
within some other buildings. Yes, ma'am. Great question.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll close the public hearing at this time. And Commissioner Trujillo, do you want some comments, or any commissioners have comments?
Anybody have anything?
I think it's great. It's a good project. I love the fact they added a little park in there that the whole community can use. So, yeah, I like it.
Okay, for ZZ 26-013, I move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Trujillo and a second by Commissioner Robinson.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce. Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
The vote of 10-0, the motion passes. Next case, ZC-26-043. The address is 18,500 to 19,300 blocks of old FM 156. The applicant is Omas Luane Peterson, Brad Judge, Jeff Judge, Eric Peterson, and Kevin Peterson with Valley Industrial Partners, Kinley Horn and Associates, Brandon Middleton. The request is from unzoned to Tract 1, which is 2.57 acres, to IAO, Light Industrial with Airport Overlay, Tract 2A, which is 8.66 acres, to IAO, Light Industrial Airport Overlay, and Tract 2B, 37.36 acres, to KAO, Heavy Industrial with Airport Overlay.
Welcome to the Zoning Commission.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Brandon Middleton with Kinley Horn here in Fort Worth, consulting firm, representing the Judge family and the developer on this project. So this project currently is in the ETJ. It's in a hole in the current city limits. We have reached out to Council District 10, and with the new council member transitioning. We were asked to reach out to Rusty Fuller and have further conversations with him on the North Fort Worth Alliance. We've done that. Feel like we've alleviated any concerns he would have, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, great. We have no opposition signed up to speak for this case, so I'll leave it open for questions. Are you good, Commissioner Werman? All right, very good. Thank you so much. At this time, we'll close the public hearing and leave it up for some discussion or a vote.
Wait to see what they're going to build on all those little stripy lines right there.
Plating ought to take care of that.
Yeah. For ZC 26-043, I move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Werman and a second by Commissioner Trujillo to approve this case.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds. Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce. Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the motion passes. Next case, ZC-26-044. The address is 16250 Old Weatherford Road. The applicant is Kevin W. Van, Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Fort Worth, and Master Plan Consultants, Wes Hoblet. The request is from unzoned to CF Community Facilities.
Hi, good afternoon, Commission. Wes Hobb with Master Plan Consultants, Here representing Holy Redeemer Catholic Parish, really just annexation to absorb the existing church into the city of Fort Worth, looking to get utilities, water, and sewer. So we are requesting about a little under 31 acres to be annexed into the city. The Star is where it is right now. Obviously, we are abutted on 3 sides by city of Fort Worth current right now with the 2 Alito schools to the north, Walsh Ranch to the southwest, and then also to the direct south as Morningstar to our direct east. We've been around since 2008 and just want to go to CF. So hopefully to conform around to the 2 existing CF zoning. We went to CPC a couple weeks ago. They approved us unanimously for CF, changing it from the residential. So this is what it looked like in 2008 when we were starting construction, and it's pretty lonely out there, so we added some residential a little bit with Morningstar to the east, and then you can see Walsh Ranch. And then really here in 2026, it's become a lot more developed with more development on the way, as you saw with the previous cases today. So we reached out to the 3 groups that are most affected or impacted here. Morningstar, no concerns. Walsh Ranch did not want to hold a neighborhood meeting. They didn't warrant it. They figured it was not really worth their time for an annexation for a church. So I've asked a couple times and got the same answer. Also reached out to Aledo ISD, talked to their CFO and their chief facilities and construction officer, talked to them multiple times on the phone. They did not have any issues with this at all, not going to affect their current operations. Here's the property as it exists today, facing to the north, facing east, where you can see the Aledo property, Aledo ISD school. Facing to the west, where it's pretty open, you can't even see the existing development over there with Morningstar. And that's it. So we're pretty straightforward and happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
And West is, looks like you have someone else signed up. Is that just for questions?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, very good. And surprise, surprise, there's no opposition for this case. So we are open for questions if you have any. Seems like a pretty cut and dry case. All right, if seeing none, we'll close this part of the hearing. Thank you, Wes. And Commissioner Welch, I believe this is yours.
All right. In the case of ZC-26-044, I move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Welch and a second by Commissioner McCoy.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce. Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, the motion passes. Next case, CC-26-048. The address is 1800 Alta Mesa Boulevard. Applicant is Hillcrest LLC, Mackenhoover Engineering and Surveying, Dylan Marshall. The request is to add a conditional use permit for an automated car wash in FR General Commercial Restricted and F General Commercial, site plan included.
Welcome to the Zoning Commission.
I'm Brandon Osmeyer. I'm with Quick Trip. Bubble Bath is our new venture or newish venture. We're looking for a CUP here. Sorry, I didn't get my presentation in time, so she's going to put it on the slideshow for me, Beth is.
And while you're looking for that, I don't have a speaker's form, so when you're done, if you'll just grab one, just fill one out when you're done.
So this is going to be our proposed bubble bath car wash. It's part of the Quick Trip brand. This is something we started here in the last 10 years. We've really done our research and moved forward with this before we've got heavy into this. If we can go to the next slide. Some of the new stuff the stuff we're doing for this, each location will create about 15 jobs, and we do a lot of promoting within. I'd say probably 80% of the company is, when you get out of the stores or in the bubble bath will be the same, is all former store employees as of right now. We commit to 100% of retail profits from the grand opening to a local charity, which will work with the neighbors and the HOAs and see who that best should go to. Bubble Bath Car Works will work with the local officials to continue helping the community it serves. As far as any of the environmental stuff, it's pretty standard here from what we're doing. We reclaim most all the water that we can here. Standard car wash that we do is 14 to 22 gallons. If you do it at your house, it's around 116 gallons. and that's with a standard 20-minute car wash. The reclaimed water is used to lubricate the brushes and rinse the vehicles all the way through. We use biodegradable soaps and waxes, by the national standards, Car Solution standards. I know some of the questions. Can you go to the next slide, please, Beth? They always have her about the blowers and the noise. The blowers do not run all day. They only run when a car is going through there at the end. If there's no cars there, they're not running. We close when the sun goes down at the latest. This isn't an open car wash that's there for people to wash their cars 24/7. We enclose our dryers in the building to reduce the noise, and we are less than 80% decibel at the street. You can see what the elevations look like here for the car wash. We've done all masonry on this one to blend in with the area and to upgrade this one from our standard EFIS that we usually use. Site plan here, we ended up flipping this site. We did have the tunnel up against the 25-foot setback. We flipped this to get the tunnel away. And with this being part of the Quick Trip family, we're blowing most of that noise from the tunnel out onto our own property. I know there was some concerns about sound barriers from the 25-foot to the residential here. That's something we're definitely willing to work with. We put any sort of sound barrier up, or right now we show a proposed 8-foot fence, double-sided like we have behind the Quick Trip. What we would be proposed to do is any sort of sound wall that would, help move this along, and as much landscaping as needed there to deaden any sound from the residential behind there to the north of us. I know there was some talk about maybe flipping this north and south. We looked at that. We just couldn't make it work with the tunnel configuration we have. There's just not enough turn radius there for that. This is Quick Trip's first submittal on this. The gas stations are our bread and butter, and we've just started the Bubble Bath stuff here recently. So I don't think we have but 4 or 5 in development in the DFW area. Now we have a lot more down south. The company we bought was out of San Antonio, so we've got about 30 or 40 down there right now. Like I said, we're willing to work with any residential stuff to help with this, to any sound deadening to help that. That's easy stuff to give there, and we're more than willing to work with that. Our store's been there for 26 years. We've never had any residential complaints from anybody. One thing we did speak to the school next door. Our initial conversation has been very good. There's no opposition there, and they're working on writing us a letter. And we do not have a fence on that side. There is a fence that they have there, but that's something we'd be willing to work with there also.
Okay, very good. Any questions for the applicant before we bring in the opposition?
Just one quick question. In the workshop, we were told that the timing on it would be like, it would be open 7 or 8.
Yes, sir. It just depends on the
sun
time
goes
of
down.
year. We're not going to open it dark. People usually don't wash their cars and everything at night. So in the wintertime, we'll close earlier. In the summertime, we'll have longer hours.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. And at this time, we'll bring up the opposition. We believe we have 3 people signed up to speak. And just a reminder to the opposition, y'all have a total of 7 minutes shared. So just if somebody brings up a point, you may just skip that if it's already been said. But we'll bring up Steve. Welcome.
Hello. My name is Steve Epstein. I'm representing the Hallmark Camelot Highland Terrace Neighborhood Association. You should have something in your correspondence from us. We have several reservations about this. We hope that there will be a denial of this request. When we met with the applicant, Mr. Osmeyer, on March 19th, we voted as a neighborhood, and it was a unanimous vote to oppose this, much like we opposed ZZ 21-146, which was a case in 2021 at the same location. That was denied also, and we hope the same today. We're concerned that the proposed car wash is too close to existing residents along Limestone Trail, just north of the parcel. There are 4 existing car washes in our neighborhood. One of them is less than 1,000 feet away. It's in the 2100 block of Alta Mesa Boulevard. So we're oversubscribed with car washes, and I just want to make sure, I want to leave time for other speakers, but you should have something in your correspondence from another neighborhood association in Edgecliff, getting the signatures of many residents immediately affected to the north of this site. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much for your comments. And I've got a Veronica.
I'll condense myself and Mayor Bartley. So my name is Veronica Gamboa, and I'm the city administrator for the town of Edgecliff Village. We're here to speak on behalf of our residents that back up to that property. Their concern is their property value is going to be going down because of this, or the potential of it going down. The noise and also the increase of traffic. So we're here today just to ask for you to consider them and their property and deny this request.
Very good. And are you Sammy?
I'm Sammy Bartley.
Okay, very good.
I'm the mayor
Welcome.
of Edgecliff. And yes, I will say this, QT has been a very good neighbor to us, and we have the school, but I am concerned about our residents and the noise. And he said that it would be open according to how much it was used. And a lot of our people don't, they need to have their rest. We have a lot of elderly people, and then we have young couples also that are moving in. And if it's open late at night, it can draw music and crowds. And we're just asking that the city of Fort Worth continue to make that a good neighbor as they have been in the past. We would appreciate it if you would deny this for that reason.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for your service.
May I ask before you sit down, Mayor? The gentleman, the applicant, mentioned that he would be willing to do a couple of things that aren't really, were not presented to us in the workshop. One was that he would build a sound wall between the development and the neighborhood. And second, that he would entertain, and we could make it a part of our motion if we needed to, that it be properly landscaped. Would that change your feelings about the project?
Not necessarily, because of, as Mr. Epstein said, we already have all of the car washes. But I would have a lot of reservations about that to see what he was really going to do.
May I also add that
Yep.
we're not opposed to businesses being there. But we do have a car wash that is in Edgecliff, and it will impact that business, and it does impact our sales tax as well, which, you know, we are a small city, so.
All right, thank you for your comments. Any other questions for the
Do
opposition?
you guys have any current complaints related to noise with the existing Quick Trip there from residents?
No, we don't. I mean, we do have some complaints in reference to some problems every once in a while where Tarrant County has to respond because that's who our policing services are through, so.
That's right. All right, very good. Thank you very much. And then now you've got 2 minutes to have your final comments if you want to counter any of that.
I would like to focus a little bit on our security system too. They talked about that. We have a state-of-the-art security system that an actual ex-colonel, he just retired last week, developed, and the FBI has investigated this and looked at our security system. That's going to be tied in directly to our Quick Trip. It's part of the whole thing. We're not going to even bring a new fiber line in. We'll run that straight to the Quick Trip next door and tie into that system. So there is 24-hour surveillance here. That's one of the good things. As far as, you know, there's a car wash 1,000 feet from there. Yes, there is. We've done our research here. I mean, the demand is for a car wash. We're not, you know, bringing traffic there. We're coming to the traffic is what we're looking for. And as far as that, we're willing to work with anybody and, you know, do anything we can to, you know, help move this along. There's a demand for a car wash here, and that's why we're here. And, you know, we lean heavily on our Quick Trip. Like I said, it's been there 26 years. You can look at the condition it is and the kind of care we do. And, you know, they're talking about community. Yes, we're providing a lot of jobs here with the ability to move up, and that is crucial to me, to my community where I live at. I mean, it's easy to get promoted here with a little hard work. That's all I got. Is there any other
Very
questions?
good. And Commissioner Pierce?
too. Oh, somebody.
Did you hit your button?
Okay, hello.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, so you were saying that it's a couple of things that the 15 jobs. So I understand that it borderlines Edgecliff, but you're in the city of Fort Worth, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The corridor of Alta Mesa is extremely busy, and you said something significant is that the traffic is already there.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you spoken to? I don't recall, but have you had a lot of engagement with the neighborhood associations that are in the area, or?
We've worked with Steve. We did have one meeting, and I've gone back and forth with Amelia, but that is the extent we've had with that. And I've spoken with the school next door.
And
I have not spoke to the initial residents to the north.
And you said that you did a traffic study, correct?
We have not done a traffic study. What we do is our research for traffic counts. So we have not done a true TIA as of this point, but what we do internally for our process to pick sites, and we look at to see if we're willing to invest that type of money, we look at the traffic that's already there. If the traffic's not there, we're not a destination site. So we're looking for a place that already has the traffic that's going to come to us.
What about marketing and feasibility studies? You did that?
Yes, we do that internally. Yes, ma'am.
Did you share that with the neighborhoods?
No, that's stuff that's proprietary.
Okay, thank you. Oh, and then you were saying one of the neighborhoods made a comment about the hours of operation. So you'll be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., correct?
Basically dusk to dawn, just depending on the time of year.
But
This is not
QT,
just a spot to hang out after and work on your car or vacuum your car. Once we close, the whole facility is closed. And we'll have employees there that will shut everything down, and that'll be the end of it. And then QT, I mean, we're going to be the same business, so we will have the store employees there that are there 24/7 and the 24/7 surveillance monitoring there.
Right, and that was my next point. The QT is open 24 hours a day with traffic, and I know their corridor well, and the noise and the busy Alta Mesa, they're there 7 days a week, and you will be there open from 7 to 8.
Yes, generally, yes.
But the neighborhoods don't have a problem with QT. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions?
I just got one. So this site has been tallied to redevelopment has been denied. So what's going to make the difference what you're doing with the previous applicants done?
Being part of the Quick Trip family, it's going to be under our umbrella, so we're going to take care of this site different. Like I said, right off the bat from security, we're not buying this land and building a car wash to turn around and flip in a few years. This is a whole business development we have with our Quick Trip. Like I said, we're going to work, within and have our own employees to work up and build the community and help the community with jobs and everything else. This isn't something that's, a fly-by-night deal or something. Like I said, we bought this about 10 years ago in San Antonio, and I think there was 12 stores. And we've really done a lot of research before we decided to gear up and really push this forward.
Here's the concern I have is that ideal school you're talking about. I've gone through there, and kids walk from that to go to that neighborhood behind the QT. So how are you going to prevent from those kids getting into some kind of accident with a car coming out? Because even I've had an issue out of this QT. I've shopped there. Cars coming out of there, that long little road and going back on Alta Mesa, they are flying through there. And my other concern is the egress going in and out with cars going in and out of there. How are you going to manage that?
I mean, as far as that goes, like I said, the traffic's there. I don't think we're going to really generate any more traffic.
Well, I mean, it's the
Things
traffic
here for the crossing here and put striping and possible mirrors up for the people to see and warning signs. As far as that, I mean, this isn't a true walkway through this person's property right here as of right now, coming through here. So the true walkway is down Alta Mesa and up to get to the neighborhood. And we'll do anything we need to, satisfy any sort of safety concerns. That's, one of our number one concerns is safety.
Yeah, because that school, a lot of kids walking from that ideal school, and there's no sidewalks over there.
And that is one of the things I talked about with Jason Fitzgerald, the principal. I mean, is making sure that this is safety and working out stuff to make sure every kid's safe there.
Okay.
There's a sidewalk that goes all the way down and all the way up to the neighborhood. Right there on this side of ours.
Here's maybe a suggestion. Maybe you might want to reconsider, go back to the neighborhoods, bring all the people involved, the homeowner association, Ideal, Edgewood, and say, hey, what do you want to, how can we make this go forward? Because right now you got a lot of opposition on it. And for me sitting here, I can't say yay or nay on it because I see what the impact is. You're bumped up against the houses and you got traffic coming in and out of Alta Mesa. And I mean, I know that I'd avoid this in the evenings. So that's just my suggestion to you.
All right, thank you very much. At this time, we will close the public hearing and leave it up for some discussion or a vote. Commissioner Pierce, do you want some comments, or you ready?
I don't see an issue with it. I mean, they're gonna create 15 jobs, and those could be jobs for the kids in the summer. I'm sorry, what would be the age requirements for, to work at the car wash?
That, and then 18 for full-time.
Right, because there's a car wash in my neighborhood, and I love how they do a lot of things in the community, and they employ a lot of the teenagers in the summertime. So I'm looking at it as a progressive move forward. I know that area well, and it's already a lot of traffic. I don't see the difference, and no disrespect to the city of Edgewood, but this is the city of Fort Worth. And I'm looking at the fact that a QT has been there over 20 years with all the noise, the loud music, you name it, you know what goes on at QT. And they don't have a problem with that. And I don't see the problem with, you've gone through the due diligence with the city of Fort Worth, okay? And the jobs that you would bring to that area, I feel that it will be an asset to the community to be able to have a car wash and be able to create jobs for the kids. And as far as there being so many car washes, we know the population growth with the city of Fort Worth, and that area is growing, and the traffic is going to continue to grow. So I move for approval.
Is that a motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One thing I would recommend is ensuring in the site plan that there is adequate screening and fencing on that side
can we
abutting
amend
the
that?
houses.
Yeah, can we amend that to adequately provide?
Do you want to go with it as you already made the motion?
I did. I made the
Okay.
motion.
All right.
Approve.
So
Time out.
well, there's a motion on the floor. So if we don't have a second, it'll go away. All right. Well, we have a motion on the floor. So motion to approve by Commissioner Pierce and seconded by Commissioner Edmonds.
Pardon me. Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Nay.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Nay.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Nay.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye. I'm sorry. Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Nay.
Commissioner Pierce.
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Nay.
With a vote of 5 to 6, the motion fails. No. I'm sorry. With a vote of 5 to 5, the motion fails.
You double checked it, 5-5. Okay.
God, I hope we can do that math here.
Take it. Ready?
So, real quick, before we move on, because she made a motion and good job. I just wanted to point out for everybody that's here, there's a whole list of other things that can go on this site. Now, they're not there yet because it's not the greatest site, but somebody will try at some point, and this feels like the very best option. It's a huge national chain that protects their assets. As far as the screening and everything else goes, I was going to ask that question just of Dave real quick, just to make sure we know what the standards are. But there's no waivers being requested. There's like they're ready to build it as we require, and it's the very best and highest that's available.
To your
All right.
point, it's something eventually is going to be built there.
No, it's I just
And it makes logical sense. And then again, like I said, to be able to employ those children, kids need something to do in the summertime, right? And so, it's already, but
So we can do another motion.
Well, no, it's already done. It's already done. And
no,
we're
it's
going to have
already
to.
5-5, so
Yeah, I
that's
just-
okay.
all I wanted to do was
Point of order.
Chris, hold on
Point
one
of
second. Let's make sure.
I believe unless we have some internal rule, the rules of procedure are that if someone from the declining side can make a motion to approve.
No, hold on. Hold
One
on.
second.
Don't listen to the legal.
Just wanted to
So,
say something.
just one
That's
second.
Robert's Rules of Order.
1 second, please. So the rule is, as stated, is a member of the prevailing party. So the motion to deny, someone who voted nay would have to make a motion to reconsider. Once that motion to reconsider is then put on the table, it would need a second and then a vote. If the vote moves forward, that motion to reconsider gets approved, then a new motion to approve can be offered to the board. So that is the process it goes. So you need someone from the denial to offer a motion to reconsider. So that is going to be your
Okay.
first question.
So if we do an offer reconsider, can we add anything to that motion?
So it's just for the motion to reconsider.
So we can't add
That
anything.
is the first part in order to even entertain a new motion to approve with additional conditions. So there needs to be a motion to reconsider from the prevailing party, someone
Okay.
from the deny.
So did somebody that voted to deny, would you like to?
I'd like to make a motion to reconsider for ZZ 26-048.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to reconsider by Commissioner Trujillo and a second by Commissioner Robinson.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Nay.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye. Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 9-1, motion passes.
Okay, so now we can, if this, Chris?
There can be, if
Yeah.
there's someone, one, you could do a new motion with any conditions. There can be a discussion prior to making that motion. But those are your two options as it stands right now. So
Okay.
if someone has a motion ready, or if there's any further discussion to make a motion, that is where we're at right now in the process.
May I finish my discussion point?
Sorry, I couldn't let you because there was already a motion on the floor. We had to vote on that, so.
No, that's fine. After we voted, I just wanted to say, like, I do want to make sure that the reasoning why we make any sort of recommendation is very transparent to everybody out here. And sometimes the very best fit is not what we would all love to see, but it's what we're going to get. I just wanted to make sure that it was clear as to why there may have been more people voting for it than you would normally think in a car wash case. Those are not the most popular in the city of Fort Worth. This just happens to be one of those times when it is the best fit, and I thought it was warranted. And I appreciate Commissioner Edmonds for kind of beating me to my point of, I think we need to talk about this. But I appreciate you guys willing to listen and, also appreciating the transparency that I love up here. Sometimes it's too much, but what I do.
So to kind of elaborate, do you want to, you mentioned, and I think it was a good point, about all the uses that could go in there if this continues to fail. Did you want to comment on that?
No, because I'll get some of them wrong. No, I mean, with the school there too, it does limit, with the distances and all of those things. There's just, everything from barbershops, banks, bakeries, hotels.
I mean, it could be a nightclub, it could be bar.
Still
am I
alcohol.
right?
I mean, it's too
Yeah.
close to the school for all that, but
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Good point.
but there's things that can be done there, and this is attached to the other business. It's one big piece. It's one business. It's not two businesses. It was two, now it's going to be one. I just think it is the very best use that we're going to get out of this, unless somebody knows of one that we haven't done.
And with the jobs, like I said,
Yeah.
kids need something to do in the summertime to make a decent wage for school clothes. I think that's a plus.
Well, the other concern I got is just making sure that the neighborhood is also protected. If we can add some comments about maybe putting a barrier to soundproof the back of where the car wash is, I think that'll go a long way to satisfy some of the issues and concern with the neighborhood behind it.
I mean, unfortunately, doing what we do, and you all know this, we're going to make someone happy and somebody unhappy, on either side. But I'm I agree with you about the neighbors. That's why I voted to deny. I just hate, a strong word. I don't like, these things right up against a house. But I understand the other points. I get it. So I would have less heartburn about this if we did include something in there about having some soundproofing, having some additional landscaping. If we included that, I would certainly be more inclined.
Like I was saying about, I agree with you, but you've got a car wash there. I mean, I don't understand. We know the noise, the chatter, the music that's
Oh, you mean the
already
gas
there.
station?
Excuse
Yeah. I
Thank
hear
you. Well, there's already a car wash there, so I could see if there wasn't, and car washes are extremely loud. Yeah. And they're open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, which is my point. And they won't even be open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Well, 7 days a week, but not 24 hours.
Yeah. Sun up, sundown. Yeah.
So it also would depend on daylight savings time. Your car wash would fluctuate between daylight savings time in the winter and the fall, in the winter and the spring. So the times will be different.
What kind of language would you like to add to your?
I would just say.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Pierce. What kind of?
Well, Fred, you're quarterbacking it, so I don't know.
I'm just throwing some things
Well,
out.
Commissioners, if I may,
At the neighborhoods.
like to talk a little bit about this before we proceed with language. This is not allowed by right, and this is something that has been considered and analyzed, and there's a reason that it's not allowed by right. Car washes are very loud. This is right up against people's backyards, their homes. You'll be able to hear this inside their house. This is a extremely disturbing business that's not allowed by right, that is much different than a convenience store. Convenience store does not make the type of noise and the light and the traffic that you would have from a car wash. And so, for whatever reasons that may seem like a good idea, there's a lot more bad reasons to put something like this right in people's backyards, and a tunnel that faces east-west directly at a school. So this is a noisy business in a tunnel, which is a speaker that amplifies and shoots out sound of both sides at a school while school is in session. So there are many reasons that this just does not make good sense as proper land use, in my opinion.
Well, I'm curious. Now, when you say not by right, what do you mean not by right?
That's why they're going to get a CUP, because
They have come here for a conditional use permit
Right.
to allow
For a car wash.
a business that is not allowed.
Right, but
because
I'm
it's not
going back to
appropriate.
my original point. There's a QT there. I don't know if anybody's lived anywhere close to a QT. It's the same. I know when you talk about tunnels and what have you, but if that's the case, then the neighborhoods, they should never have allowed that to sit there for 26 years to begin with. So, and that's my argument, is that if there's already a certain amount of noise, and that is an extremely
There's a
busy
big difference
street.
between a convenience store, people coming in, purchasing something, and going away.
Okay.
As to
Where
somebody who is
where is it?
vacuuming.
Real quick,
Where is
hold
the
on.
actually demographic study?
Let
Tell
me,
that. Where
hold
is
on,
the-
let me
as far
take
as
over
noise?
for a second. Y'all are all making very good, valid points, and we can disagree, and certainly that's okay. And the good news is that, council, they're gonna have to actually vote on this. We're gonna make a recommendation,
Right.
and then they're gonna do what they wanna do. I think we've given them a lot to think about, so I appreciate everybody being so vocal about this, because now they'll have this stuff to, when they consider what they're gonna do. But Commissioner McCoy, valid points. Commissioner Pierce, valid points. I think all of us are making valid points, but I think I don't know that we're going to get anywhere. I think it's okay that we disagree. It's good. It's a good debate, but I think we need to go ahead and vote.
Yeah, one comment, though, Commissioner McCoy. I know there's a car wash by my house that butts up against someone's back of their house. And it's going to be the same scenario. It's right there on the corner of Sycamore School Road and Granbury Road. There's a car wash, but and that tunnel runs right there, just like that. So it's the same scenario there.
Okay.
We've got two more speakers.
Real quick, we need to, I agree with you, Chairman Raines, we need to move forward, and as far as language or additions or subtractions, I have faith that council will make those decisions that will be the most beneficial. I think the framework that we're trying to deliver them, whether it's approved or denied, this is the correct framework. Let's let them fight over another brick or a bush or something like that, please.
Well, let me say, Mr. Worsman, I disagree with you. I think the applicant has agreed that he would add to this, his application, a sound wall and landscaping, which are not in the application. So I would suggest to the maker of the motion that we add those two provisions in there, because he's already volunteered to do it. And those are two of the concerns that our fellow commissioner has.
Commissioner, I would add that I don't think any of the commissioners on this commission have domain expertise on sound dampening. And whether it's going to be some shrubbery or a 6-foot wood fence versus an 8-foot wood fence, it's going to be pretty inconsequential. It's going to require 10-foot masonry wall at the least to make a difference.
I think Commissioner's point, I certainly, none of us are, I don't think, have degrees in that, understand. But, you know, there's also, you know, there's, like I said earlier about, I think it was the manufacturing stuff, they can't make so much noise that it's, I mean, there are regulations that you can only be so loud, you know, and then they're going to face fines and stuff like that. But
these homes are Edgecliff Village, correct?
Correct. Okay, but they use
there's an
City of Fort
overlap
Worth's,
there that
police officers. But hold on, just so I think his point is that they're already volunteering to do something, even if it doesn't solve the problem. They're already willing to do something, so we might as well put it in the motion, and it gives council something to look at. You don't have to do it. You can make your motion however you want, but that's the point he's trying to make. But I think we need to go ahead and make a motion, and Commissioner Pierce, make it however you would like. It's your call.
Okay. In the case of ZC 26048, I move for approval.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Pierce and a second by Commissioner Werman to approve.
Commissioners, how do you vote?
May I ask, I'd like to make a substitute motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve and include in the motion that the applicant has agreed to install a sound wall and landscaping not shown in the original application.
Do we need a second on that?
No second.
Okay, there's no second. We'll go to the original motion.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Nay.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 9-1, motion passes.
So y'all didn't know you were going to get a show today, did you? So this is government at work here. Good job, commissioners. I love a healthy debate.
Next case. Advance the slide, please. ZC-26-049. The address is 5700 Lenore Street. The applicant is Sumi Estate Holdings Corporation, Abby Sunmanu. The request is from ER, Neighborhood Commercial Restricted, to B, two-family residential.
Welcome to the Zoning Commission. Go ahead. You can present your case. If you'll speak into the mic so we can catch it. Oh, you'll want it. You have to speak right into it. Yeah.
The property is currently Zone AR Neighborhood Commercial. The building was originally constructed as a house where the prior owner lived. She used this as a home and an accounting business office. So the current owner purchased the property in 2017. and the property design matches all other homes in the community and on the street. For the last 8 years, the building has been used as a healthcare-related business. The healthcare business closed down last year, July 2025. The request to rezone the property to be residential so the building can be used as for residential purposes.
Thank you very much. And Commissioner Robinson, this is your case, I believe, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just in an effort to possibly save some time, we don't have anyone in opposition. Do you plan to approve this? Okay. I mean, it's really just kind of a cleanup case. There are 2 other people signed up to speak.
On this?
Commissioner's going to make a motion to approve. You're still welcome to speak, but you don't have to, so. Okay.
All right.
Do y'all have any questions or need discussion? This is a cleanup case, really. It matches all the other zoning. Okay, we're gonna thank you so much for being here, and we will close the public hearing. And Commissioner Robinson, it's all yours.
In the case of ZC 26049, I move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Robinson and a second by Commissioner Rogers.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, motion passes. Next case, ZC-26-0522. The address is 648 East Bonds Ranch Road. The applicant is HEB LP, Baird, Hampton and Brown, Inc., and Joe LaCroix. The request is from AG Agricultural to I Light Industrial.
Welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, good afternoon. My name is Joe LaCroix. I'm with Baird, Hampton and Brown Engineering. We are the engineers and surveyors on this project. Again, pretty straightforward kind of cleanup case. The developer, HEB, had purchased the adjacent property back in 2015, closed on this property, the additional 5 acres, about a year ago, simply transitioning just to match the zoning of the adjacent property.
Okay, very good. Unsurprisingly, there is no opposition for this case. Commissioner Werman, do you have any questions? Do you want some discussion? Okay. All right, thank y'all for being here. And again, there's no opposition, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And Commissioner Werman, this is yours.
Dude didn't even bring tortillas today.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one to deny HEB.
Oh, he didn't bring
I
tortillas.
have to live here.
For ZC 26-052, I move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Werman and a second by Commissioner Trujillo.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson.
Aye.
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 Can someone turn his mic back on? Okay, there you go.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, motion passes. Next case, ZC-26-053. The address is the 1400 block of Marion Avenue. Applicant is Carmen Chavez and Kelly Hart & Hallman, LLP, Ray Ojeski, and Jeff Whitfield. The request is from A5 One Family Residential to I Light Industrial.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Ray.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Ray Ojeski representing Lone Star Demolition Services, Carmen and Crystal Chavez. This is a certified women-owned and minority-owned business that has utilized the property for outside storage of its equipment. Oops. Went too far.
Other way.
Can you get me back to it? Thank you, guys. For outside storage for its equipment since 2006, albeit in contrary to the A5 zoning that is currently on the property. The ultimate goal for this one is to go to a CUP for limited to the outside storage of the company's equipment on the property. But in terms of the compliance with the zoning ordinance, we first of all have to go into an I zoning category first, and then we can ultimately go into a CUP for the property. I guess did my presentation not make it in, I guess? Didn't look like
Staff?
it did in. Staff?
Doesn't appear so. Do you have
Doesn't
one
look
you
like
want
it. Okay. Okay.
We can put it yeah, under the overhead projector, as they used to be called. Now I'm dating myself.
So what I want you to see on the site is essentially what is already owned by this property owner. The property owner owns a significant number of lots that are just south of this location. First of all, I'd like to point out that this is only a 1.14 acre site. It's very small, and it was previously utilized by the property owner. Everywhere you see a pink shaded lot, that whole area was originally utilized by the property owner for the outside storage activities that they have. There's one orange colored lot that you see there in the middle that they are in the process of seeking to own by adverse possession. Again, that's a lot that they've utilized, they pay taxes on, and they're in the process, again, of acquiring the ownership of that lot. And then as far as neighborhood outreach went, the property owner went door to door to property owners that are there in the vicinity, and you have in your possession, maybe not, but now you will after today, you will have letters of support from 14 of those property owners that are in the green color that are in support of the property owner's request for the outside zoning here on this property.
We did receive all that this morning.
Did receive those, okay, very good, thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the end of the day, with the use that's gone on for a considerable period of time on this property, pretty much anybody that lives in this area has seen this use go on for many, many years. And again, with the number of lots that the property owner owns, they will be able to buffer any of the uses that are outside of their ownership, either by not developing those lots or by just choosing to develop a portion of those lots. And as a matter of fact, the space that you see between the area being rezoned and the pink lots to the south, that is actually a platted street called Marion, but it's never been built. It's never been finished out. So to the extent that the zoning is approved and they are able to use this property for the outside storage, essentially they will likely abandon that portion of Marion Drive that is just south of their property. And they would also choose not to develop the lots that you see immediately to the south because there wouldn't be a street that would essentially access those lots. So the only lots that they would realistically develop would be the ones where you see Mulkey Drive. So the lots just to the north of that would be lots that they could develop into residential lots under the current A5 zoning if they so proved. But the buffer would still be maintained with the lots that you see on just to the immediate south of the property that's being rezoned. So if I'm making sense, they've got the ability to buffer any use that essentially is going to be south of this property. Now the property just to the north, they've not been able to get in contact with the owner of that property, but they own that land right there, and then the two lots immediately to the left or to the west of that large piece of property right there. And that owner also owns a couple of the lots over there to the right.
We're running up against time. Just
You bet. Let me wrap up right now and say I think you've got the gist of what we're trying to do here with this property. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Ray. We don't have any opposition here, and you want to hang out, Ray, just in case there are. Any questions?
I have a question. So you were saying that the landowner So it's currently zoned for A5 one-family residential. So you were saying that he's been storing his equipment on the land for a long time?
That's correct,
And it's been
Commissioner.
residential land?
Yes, that is correct.
And so he's wanting to move to light industrial, and it's in the neighborhood, correct?
Granted, that portion of the property, again, most of it is undeveloped as a neighborhood, Commissioner, I would argue. I mean, you do certainly have some lots that have been developed along Mulkey Street, but again, and some lots over there, obviously, to the west. But yes, I would say if you look at the industrial that is north and east of that property, you've got a considerable amount of industrial in the area as well.
Right. And so here's my issue, a lot of what's going on in District 8. You have a lot of these neighborhoods, because as you know, there's a lot of new housing development, as there's a lot of, how can I say this, a resurgence of the southeast side of Fort Worth. So they're coming back later on. Everybody's complaining. I don't know if you saw the council meeting yesterday, but everybody's complaining about all this industrial in the middle and around neighborhoods and that are around housing. Did you talk with well, you said you have 14 letters of support. Were those from residents or businesses or?
Those would be residents. Now, a lot of that property that you see that's been developed along Mulkey, a lot of that is rental housing. So some of it was owner occupied, some of it is just simply rental occupants of that property. But again, trying to go up and down a street, to try to get doors knocked and talk to people can be challenging. But she was able to get a considerable number of those people, that live along that area to show their support.
And what about the businesses? Were there any businesses in the area that you talked to?
There was one
mostly?
business that was just over there to the west, and they're already owned. They're already zoned industrial, so they did not have any issue with it. It would be the one that, if you could put, well, anyway, the slide that I showed you, there was one business there just on the other side of Riverside Drive there that did sign a consent form as well. And they can, Commissioner, they can go ahead and develop the rest of those lots there on Mulkey that are just to the north of what has already been developed. They can still develop those. They're not residential builders, so they would sell it, to a residential developer. But they could provide housing to that area right there. The challenge for them is the area that you see that they're attempting to rezone. That street is going to have to be completely built out in order for those lots to be developed. And to incur the cost of being able to develop a residential street in order to go forward with those residential lots, it's expensive to do that. Is there a developer out there that might do it? We don't know. But because they need a location to put their equipment, they've owned the property for a long time. It was important enough for them to come before you and ask for that permission to be able to continue to use the property as they have, because it can be hard to find locations to store equipment for their business.
Commissioner Pierce, do you have any other questions?
I guess one more. In our meeting earlier, it was stated that they want to put eventually a public storage there.
No, not correct. There is no building on the property right now, and they would need a CUP. Even if the I zoning was approved today, they would still need a CUP because they don't have a functional building on the property. And to have outside storage without a CUP, you have to have a building. They don't have a functional building right now, but they would like to put a building on the property that would essentially serve as their office for their equipment that they would store there.
That's it. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions for Ray? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
There is no one here to speak in opposition, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. I don't know what you're thinking right now, I guess, but I tend to really stick with what staff wanted to do on this one and deny this case. And it's because I feel like the district that you live in, you represent, there's enough, and industrial right next to all these houses. Just because there's already some to the north I don't think it means we need to continue it. It's just not, it's not a place for industrial. I own an industrial business, but I wouldn't want to be right next to homes. It's just, I don't think it's fair to the neighbors, and I think the District 8 deserves more housing, and yes, there's nothing there now, but, and yeah, it may take some time, because Ray brought up a good point, building out those roads. But I have faith that some developer will figure that out. We've got a bunch of smart ones here. I would like to see it stay single-family residential, and certainly there are some neighbors that, think that this is great, so I won't deny that, but yeah, I think in the long run, I think we might look back on this and go, why in the world did we make that industrial? Like, it should be housing. So, I don't know, that's just
I agree.
my thoughts.
I mean,
so.
I
Any
agree
other?
with what you're saying.
Yeah, I concur on that.
Opinions?
I don't see the value of that.
All right, well, Commissioner Pierce, it's yours.
Okay, thank you, fellow commissioners. In the case of ZC 26053, I move for denial.
Second.
We have a motion to deny by Commissioner Pierce and a second by Commissioner Robinson.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers. Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, motion passes. Next case, ZC-26-04. The address is 115 Northwest 25th Street and 2458 Ellis Avenue. Applicant is Franklin Letty Corporation and W Real Estate Holdings, LLC. The request is to add a conditional use permit in Stockyards Transition Neighborhood Mixed Use 55 for a structured parking garage without a time limit, site plan included.
Welcome to the Zoning Commission. Did you say finally under your breath when you heard us call your case?
I did not.
Notice y'all been here all day.
Is this on? Can y'all hear me?
You have to get a little closer. You almost have to get right on top of it.
Is this better?
Yep, we can hear you.
I didn't, but I bet you guys did. We do have a presentation. Do we know if it was added?
It came in just a little late, and I'm sorry that it's not in there.
Oh, no.
I tried to get it in between the work session and here.
Here we go. Perfect.
Here we go.
Thank you. Okay. Well, good afternoon. My name is Shannon Bearden. I am an architect and vice president with Dunaway. I'm here on behalf of ML Letty's, the Franklin family, and Parking Systems of America. As you guys noted, we are requesting a conditional use permit to replace an existing surface parking lot with structured parking, which will have commercial, office, or retail at the ground floor. So you can see in the photo from the corner that this is the existing surface lot. I'm not going to read all of this, but it is important to us to note that for more than 80 years, ML Letty's has been a staple and a landmark, if you will, of Fort Worth and certainly the Stockyards located at North Main and Exchange. You guys, we have all seen the growth of the Stockyards and successful growth at that. I'm sorry, I keep backing away from this. But successful growth of the Stockyards, adding retail, residential, multifamily, hospitality, and restaurants and bars. And with that successful growth has also brought congestion to the area, notably vehicles. The Franklins have recognized this and realized this as an opportunity to help take their site and ease congestion by converting it from surface parking to structured parking. A 2023 traffic study commissioned by the city of Fort Worth noted that all 4 streets along our site, that would be North Main, Exchange, Ellis, and Northwest 25th, are all over and exceeding 100% capacity with congestion, meaning that people are continuously circling the block looking for parking. They're illegally parking, they're double parking, they're making up parking spots. So parking is needed. Furthermore, that study and I quote, recommended improving parking utilization and leveraging parking resources, specifically on the western side of the district to help reduce congestion. It's also important to note that upcoming there will be improvements made to North Main, and in the southbound direction, parking will be removed from the street. So there will be less available parking on North Main. Okay, this is a site plan and ground floor plan of the proposed garage. The site will continue to have multiple ingress and egress points as it does today from North Main, from Ellis, and we're adding an entrance from Northwest 25th Street. As noted, we are within the transition district, surrounded by the historic district. We are going to replace the existing buildings that are currently vacant, have been vacant, along Northwest 25th that cover approximately 2,000 square feet. We will replace them and add commercial space in the northwest corner of the garage. So you can see that in the top of the plan. Today, the site houses 55 parking spaces on that surface lot. The garage will improve parking approximately 245 spaces for a total of 300 spaces. And the height of it is 4.5 stories. This site, I know you can't see it from this, maybe you could see it from the photo, but it is a complicated site. There is 10 feet of fall from the north and south and the east and west. So it makes a great space for a parking structure. It would be really hard for anything other than parking to be on this site. Which is why that small amount of commercial that we can add is on that northwest corner. It truly is the only viable spot that is flat for commercial use. We understand that this hearing is strictly for use and not design, but we felt it prudent to share the concept renderings, and we have 3 of them, of what this building will look like. The family set some pretty high expectations for us going forward before we even started, to make sure that this building did not look like a parking garage. That direction. Which is beautifully screened, but the goal was to make it not look like a parking structure, to make it blend in with the historic fabric. They have a historic building that they have taken pride in, again, for over 80 years. It is on the National Register, so it was important to them that the materiality of this building match. So we're proposing brick, stucco, and wood paneling, all of which is found within the stockyards today.
Your final thoughts?
Yes, okay. One more view from North Main. And then we wanted to bring up the project schedule. So prior to today, we did meet the clients, met with all of the neighboring buildings, met with the Neighborhood Association, the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber Council, and we also prepared a presentation and presented to the newly formed Fort Worth Stockyards, Inc. Design Review Committee. That committee, after our presentation, noted that they recommended approval for the conditional use permit. After today, with success, we plan to move forward with submitting to the UDC and BOA because, as noted earlier in the workshop, we do have some waivers and some variances in order to make a parking structure work on this site. We have been in the news, we've been in the forums. All of the comments we have received has been successful. Everyone knows that we need parking here. We are hosting an open house today at 5 o'clock at the Spring Hill Suites in the Stockyards. Anyone is welcome to come. We are talking about the project design. Any questions, happy to answer them.
Okay. And probably no surprise, but there's no opposition here. We certainly can open up to questions, but I have a feeling that, she just said it all. If there's any place that needs more parking in Fort Worth, it's the Stockyards. And if you don't know much about why there aren't parking garages there now, parking garages are very expensive. So kudos to the Franklins for figuring it out. There's no doubt in my mind, and probably I would guess everyone up here would concur, that when you have somebody like the Franklins, which has had such a legendary business here, and people that are very involved in the community, you didn't even have to show me that rendering, and I knew they were going to build something that matches the district and it looks Western and it fits. It's not just going to be a big, concrete structure like that. But, to defend the city, this is your taxpayer dollars. So, if we built something fancy, you probably wouldn't like it. So, all that said, does anybody have any questions or any? Can probably just move this along. Trujillo, we'll
Yes.
close the public hearing and leave it open for a vote.
Nobody
I'm sorry, staff wants to say something?
Okay, Fort Worth Stockyards is here, and there was a letter of opposition, or a letter received from them.
No, there is no one here to speak in opposition, is what I said.
You're right.
Okay. All right, thank you. You ready to make a motion?
Yeah, I'm ready to make a motion. For ZZ 26-054, I move for approval.
Second.
Who was that second? Sorry, I didn't hear it. Was that McCoy? Yeah. Who was that? Werman, sorry. Okay, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Trujillo and a second by Commissioner Werman.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Rains.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, motion passes. Next case. CC-26-056. This case has been withdrawn. No action is needed and no public hearing will be held. Next case. ZC-25-026. The address is 3812 East Loop 820 South. The applicant is East Loop 820 LLC, Leslie Ford, Officito. The request is from MU1, Low Intensity Mixed Use, to PDMU1, Planned Development, Low Intensity Mixed Use for neighborhood commercial drive-through restaurants and retail with all uses in MU1 excluding liquor or package store, gasoline sales and credit access business, development standards for 55-foot maximum primary street setback, surface parking allowed between front building and the street, up to 70% of the parking lot frontage allowed along a street, street trees and pedestrian lighting allowed on private property frontage within 5 feet of the right-of-way. Principal building entrances may not be from a public sidewalk or plaza. Primary entrances may be from a parking lot. Drive-through windows and stacking lanes allowed to be located along the facades of buildings that face a street. Driveways may be located within the front yard setback between the building front and the street, and passenger car parking allowed in the supplemental building setback at all times of day, site plan included.
Zoning Commission. We got your pamphlets.
Hey, there we go. We have it. We were trying to figure that out. All right.
My legs are getting tired. I want to get.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leslie Ford, and I am from Uffichito. I am representing the owner, who is Net Lease Properties, and then also tertiarily representing McDonald's, who is a future potential tenant here. So just to move through this really quickly, you guys have access to our site plan and everything, but I want to talk really quickly about this because I think we don't see a lot of development over off of Berry Street, especially on the east side over here. So what we're asking for is to retain the base MU1 zoning to uphold some forms of enhancement designed and to create good development. So we are retaining things like the street trees, retaining things like the pedestrian lights, making sure that we can retain the requirements for some of the better finishes on the building to make sure that we're really kind of keeping that MU nature with asking for some concessions. I wanted to show you this photo because this is an existing quick service restaurant in the area. This is something that's going on right now. It's also a combo beer, wine, lotto, and cigarette and vape store. And so that's currently what is going on in the area. And what we're trying to do is bring national brands with good QSR business, good franchisee-driven business that actually has pride, and will have all of the amenities and all of the things that you would expect on a nationwide brand to come to town or to this area. So I want to point out too, the MU1 zoning does allow for drive-through restaurant use by right. So this is not a request for a special use. This is a by right use. And we're hoping that these projects can be a catalyst for development in this area. These are our current conditions. So facing north on Berry, we have the Cowboy Beer drive-through, which is currently closed and abandoned. The Great Western Inn, and then we do in front of our property have the 820 frontage, which is part of the new TxDOT program. And then adjacent homes, most are zoned MU1, but some are A5 and A10, and we'll get into that in a second. Again, you'll have a copy of our site plan and a copy of our landscape plan. So I'm going to jump through these really quickly because we'll talk about them in a second. So site plan, landscape plan. And so we did attempt some community engagement. Obviously, the notices were sent out to the property owners, but something I've always heard from Zoning Commission and also BOA is sometimes we're not reaching the people who actually live in the homes because they may be a rental product. So we actually went and did some actual canvassing. We talked to some folks that were out in their yards. We actually talked to the person who lives directly behind our property, and we gave them this flyer. So we gave them the opportunity to reach out. We gave them a link to the zoning so they could make a card. I didn't receive anything back personally. I don't know if y'all did or not. I haven't heard. So that's just what we gave out. It was an 8.5 by 11. What's really interesting is there is some catalytic development in the area. So this house here at the bottom is zoned A10. And it's a new development, so it's a new house. And I actually ran into the man who is building the house while I was there, and they were talking to me a little bit about how they are trying really hard to kind of bring up the neighborhood. But what's interesting is, in order to do that, they had to zone out of the MU1 and into A10, which creates a place where it doesn't make that contiguous MU1 work. So if you see here, we've actually got two properties, A10 and A5, that are zoned out of the MU1. So we've already broken it. It's already happened in the development. What we're asking for is a little bit of agreement that we can continue the development without the MU1. So we're asking for some modifications of the MU1, and I'm going to tell you the vast majority of them are caused by the fact that we have TxDOT as our biggest competitor of development here. So TxDOT does have a right-of-way access all the way on Berry Street, even though they do not own Berry Street. So Berry Street is a City of Fort Worth street, but they do have the availability to add their right-of-way all the way in front of the McDonald's property. So whenever we were talking with them, they actually went through the process with us of trying to say, hey, we cannot put two entrances. We cannot put this. We cannot put an entrance right where the McDonald's is for them to have two entrances and circle around the building. We are going to plop one entrance right there in the middle. We're going to put our sidewalks, and we're going to do the same at the properties to the south. So we are encumbered by that. That's our biggest encumbrance here. I want to point out too that we are keeping the street trees and the pedestrian scaled lighting on the properties. The reason we have to ask for a variance is because we have to keep them on our property, not in the right of way, because TxDOT will not allow us to put them in the right of way. So we're not allowed to do that. I have a ton more information about TxDOT, which was also in your packet, the floodplain, and then I want to talk really quickly about the Berry Street timeline. So currently on our site, there is some illegal dumping, including a handgun holster. And then the current Berry Saw Cut project, there was a man disassembling a car. So that's what we're looking at right now. So we are really trying to do some good development that is not funded by the city. We're very excited about the Berry Saw Cut project, but that took a huge investment from the city of Fort Worth, $4.6 million. These are private dollars to develop these properties. So one thing I want to talk about real quick too is the Berry Street Connector Plan. I know this is a huge point of contention for a lot of the folks here in zoning, but the Berry Street Connector Plan kind of doesn't mention this site at all. There's one specific mention of this site where it says that it needs to be part of segment D, which is the US 287 to Miller Avenue segment. They basically want the development to look the same. That's the only place we're mentioned. We're skipped over for mixed use recommendations, and we're skipped over for focus areas for ideas for improvement. So really and truly what we're asking is to allow this project to be a catalyst for development. Each McDonald's restaurant, I know I can actually attest to that, brings between 30 and 40 jobs to the area where people can walk. We're very close to Dunbar. That will allow for us to have jobs where these kids can walk and actually have those jobs during the summer, after school. And then also we're hoping we can be a catalyst for development for other developers, residents, and government officials. If we can develop these private dollars into this area, hopefully other people will follow. I know it's not ideal. I know that the MU is not exactly what we're putting here, but it's up against the highway and we're doing the best that we can. So overall, I think I'm out of time, but I just want to make sure that y'all know. I think I'm pretty close to out of time.
You've got about a minute.
Yeah, so overall, I mean, really, we just want to make sure that we're acting as a catalyst for development. McDonald's specifically is my client, and they are someone who has committed, if we can get this zoning change done, to come into this property. And just some information here about things that are happening. McDonald's did an entire economic impact analysis to the impact analysis of McDonald's on DFW, and this is what you see here. The GDP of the impact is $563 million. They're bringing in 4,800 new jobs. And that's something we can bring to Berry Street. It's something that we can do that I know at the beginning, whenever we were making this plan in 2006, it was not the intent. The intent was for us to do a great mixed use, and it was to have walkable access. We also didn't expect that TxDOT was going to come and take right of way from all the way to basically the street behind us. You know, at this point, the street behind us has multiple properties that have been zoned out of the MU. And so I think right now what we can do that's best for Berry, and I got some buy-in from some people at UDC for this, and then also having spoken to our council members, this one's interesting because it's Berry Street, it's Deborah Peoples to the top, and then it's Jeanette Martinez where we are. And we've spoken with both of them. And at this point, the big thing for us is that this is development that's here now. It's development people are willing to do, and they're willing to do it with private dollars. So we really appreciate your time, and I hope you guys are good. Thank you. Any questions?
Great, thank you. There is no opposition on this case, so we can go right into questions. If y'all have any? Chairman. Oh, what's your name? Oh, it looks like it's in favor. Were you speaking in opposition? Okay. One second. I thank you for raising your hand. Yes, you can come up. We'll hear from the opposition.
Hi.
Welcome. Sorry about that.
Hi.
Thanks
No,
for
no,
speaking
no,
up.
it's fine. My name's Valerie Ventura. My house is directly behind the proposed development. And actually, no one actually stopped by my house to talk to me or anything like that. But I just want to start out with Fort Worth has been my home for many years. As much as I would love for it to stay an empty lot, obviously that's not going to happen. And I'm all for, developing the area. Obviously, Stop 6 is not a great, neighborhood. But the concerns that I have is with these retail or, drive-through that is being added, it's literally touching my property. So I'm concerned about noise, I'm concerned about lighting. Obviously the Chevron that's there in the corner, there's, questionable characters that kind of hang out there. So I'm concerned this is gonna be the same case at my house. Right now, the motel that's at the corner of my house actually just put up a new light, and that actually goes straight into my bedroom. So that would be my only concern, is how would we need to protect us as the homeowners that are behind these properties?
Okay, thank you. And now you can come up and rebut that. You have 2 minutes if you want to come back up and speak to any of that.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, so the last slide of the presentation addresses the noise and also some of the lights. So I don't know if we want to pull that back up, but I'll do that real quick. I didn't think we had opposition, so I didn't talk about it. So it's interesting because there is a supplemental setback for a zoning adjacency, and because we have allowed for properties that are adjacent to this property to be zoned out of the mixed use, we have now triggered the supplemental setback. And so what we have done is non-daylight hour parking is actually prohibited and enforced by signage as shown on the site plan. And so the signage that we do is actually the same signage that we are using at the Basswood location that we did for McDonald's. It's right here beneath the A5. No parking is allowed between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. This was originally approved by staff whenever we tried to figure out what to do with this supplemental setback. And so this is what we have at that location. It allows for there to be, if there's a light problem, call code, and then they can come and they can deal with it. They will ticket the owner, and that's how we take care of the light. So as it pertains to the sound, which I think is also probably a concern, so we actually have we actually have a sound study where we have the sound pressure levels, and depending upon how far you are from the speaker is at these decibel levels. And so the speakers are also equipped with, for any national brand at this point, adaptive sound technology, which during ambient hours will actually reduce the decibels. And so from the point in which these properties are engaging with these quick service restaurants, the decibels will not be able to be heard. It is the equivalent of a whisper. And we have the sound study that shows that if we need to. So I think that addresses both the lighting and the sound. And so those are things that we've already said yes to. And there's also a proposed 6-foot minimum board-on-board wood fence.
Okay, very good. And you might hang out for just a second in case there's questions. Commissioners?
The dumpster right there, I believe that's,
Yep.
is that a
That was
dumpster
gonna be my
enclosure?
question too. If you'll come back up, we're going to have some questions for you. Could you help, Commissioner Werman has a question about the dumpster, the location. It's right up against the house. Is there a better location for that?
So we actually, I realize now, between the point in which we went to UDC and now, we've actually made a change to the site plan. I realize we have our old site plan in here. So we actually moved the dumpster to the adjacency to the gas station because we wanted to make sure we were mindful of that. And so we moved it over basically in the top corner up there, kind of like this over there. And so I can send that to staff and make sure they have it. In fact, I think staff may have it, and the one in your packet may actually be the new one. So this is one from my old presentation from UDC.
Did you also get off the 5-foot setback that's on here with the additional parking spaces?
The 5-foot
At the
setback.
southwest, like the southwest corner of the top space. The parking spots are on top of the property lines.
Yeah, so those are actually moved out now because we don't have the dumpster there, so it re-angled that entire area. So whenever, I guess it was the staff planner, Joseph, and I spoke about it, that was the thing he pointed out, and we did make a change. So I'm sorry that I have the wrong site plan there. And we're perfectly fine to take that if we need to, like as an official comment to say those things need to be moved and officially done, and then we'll just send the site plan over to staff if they don't have it.
Yep. Go ahead.
Steph, would you mind pulling up the site plan that's included in our presentation? So if we switch from this to our presentation, then let's look at that site plan that's in it.
And while you're looking that up, Commissioner Castro, what are you thinking?
No, yeah, curious to see the updated plan.
Yeah, so this one's not the updated either. So this is not, we went to UDC on the 15th. So we just need to get the updated one to you guys and get everything moved around. So we have an encumbrance over in that corner. We're going to figure out exactly where it goes if it's not already represented, because we have the floodplain actually touches the property, and we're not allowed to put any dumpster enclosure in the floodplain. So we'll have to figure out where to put that in that top corner if it's not already there. But I am pretty sure from what we've moved around that we already addressed it whenever we talked to staff member laws. I'm sorry that we didn't bring the right one.
Okay, hold on one moment. Chris, or can we even accept that? Because there's nothing in our...
You can honestly just make it as part of your motion to
Okay.
either approve
To move the dumpster and remove those parking spots.
revised site plan with a dumpster as she has indicated where it would be.
Okay.
Obviously, you can continue the case if you want to, but
Sure.
Moving forward, obviously, you
Okay.
can approve a revised site plan.
I just turned around and got
Okay.
a yes.
All right. Other questions? Commissioner Castro, do you have any questions?
So with regards to any additional signage, you've mentioned that Mickey D's is a potential one. Like, is there anything that's going to be high that would block or be in the window view of the residents in the back?
So the only signage that we're actually proposing, does this have a laser? Can I point? No. Okay, so the only signage that we're actually proposing is kind of in the lower corner of the property that's on East Loop 820. So we are actually, for any kind of higher signage, we are actually more constrained and controlled by TxDOT because of its location next to the highway than we even are by the city standards. And so city standards are actually not even allowed because TxDOT is more restrictive than the city. And so what will happen is there will be a shared multi-tenant, probably pylon sign, because it's not going to be something that the city really, y'all would approve it straight out because it's exactly what we need. But we also spoke with our staff member about doing what we call a USA, like a unified sign agreement, to use with the 3 properties together. So all 3 of the properties would use the one sign that is whatever TxDOT says it can be height-wise. That is what will flow for all of that.
What about illuminated building signs? Do they face the residents?
Site plan.
So currently there would be a McDonald's M located on the side facing the properties to the northwest there, so in the corner. It's tricky because, I mean, what we've run into is since they're zoned MU1, then there's not really a lot of, this is where this gets weird, is because the MU1 zoning doesn't require for there to be any kind of like mitigation of that, but we understand that it's actually MU1 zoning with houses. It's not really MU1 zoning. So all that we've got facing that right now is a single McDonald's M, but that's something we can definitely discuss if we need to. And I think signage is not something we bring through here, but we can, if it needs to
Right.
be a condition, that's fine.
You'll go to BOA, unless we've got our new language.
Oh, please don't bring signs here.
Let's see. So, Commissioner.
One more
Yeah.
question. Drive-through hours, are we talking it closes at some point or 24
Yeah,
hours?
so usually these are not 24 hours. It's not something that's being done as often as it used to in the past. It's really kind of up to the owner operator, and I don't know specifically what the hours will be of this one, but I believe that in another area where we had kind of a similar adjacency, we closed the dining room generally around 9 or 10, and then the drive-through has different hours for the weekdays and the weekends, just kind of like you would see normally. And I believe, I want to say it's midnight, I think is what is set for Basswood, but I don't remember exactly.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. At this point, we'll close the public hearing and leave it up for some discussion. So Commissioner, what I was going to ask you, I'm just curious where you're at with, like during the work session, I mentioned that I think this is the type of stuff that, goes off a highway, that's where you see these type things. However, the other side of that coin is, especially where the McDonald's is going to be right off of, Berry against these houses, a fast food restaurant or with a fair amount of traffic, I'm assuming, or they wouldn't build it there.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of concern about that. And, the security concern, you put that stuff there, more people are going to be walking, that's not something that, we really look at, but it's certainly it's in my head. But I think from a land use perspective, it makes sense. Obviously, though, however, comp plan, they're not really wanting that there. It's a tricky little site. I'm just wondering how you're thinking, like balancing, improving the site, because certainly it could use some improvement, but also it's right up against those houses. How are you feeling about that?
So I want to acknowledge the economic development attempt and also the renegotiation and moving the dumpster, but it feels like we're trying to do a lot somewhere where it doesn't seem feasible, and we're infringing on the residents right behind there. So my thoughts are still in line with the staff recommendation at this point.
Okay.
Anybody else?
If I may add, I'm extremely familiar with that area. They call that area the Creek. And they've had multiple, I'm talking about barbershops. You just saw Louisiana Fried. They've had multiple businesses for 50 years in and out of the area. It's on the other side of Dunbar than at Chase Bank. So that area is not unfamiliar with commercial development at all. It's been there on and off, but because of the highway expansion, a lot of the businesses have left. But that's been zoned for commercial, and commercial businesses have been in that area for 30 years.
Any other thoughts now that you know what Commissioner Castro is thinking? Any other comments? All right.
Well, it seems to me if we're going to have a motion to approve, that we need to include in there all the changes they've talked about making that make it more desirable for the adjacent property owners.
Yeah, like, Chris mentioned earlier, when I made a comment about this site plan, since they don't have the updated one. If you are, oh, this is the updated one on the screen, just kidding. We need to note, how could we note that now that we have this pulled up?
It was my understanding that wasn't the updated site plan. Is that correct?
This one has the dumpster moved.
But it has the parking. It has the parking they said that they were going to move in the southeast. If north is the top of the screen, then on the site at the top of their site, on the McDonald's, I thought they said they were going to move some of that parking in the southwest corner.
Well, it looks like they adjusted something because it's like it's like
I mean,
kissing the
I would-
property line, but it's not over it.
If I may real quick, so this was the one that was sent out in the courtesy notice, so this was the one that's going forward.
So I would just confirm with the applicant that this is the most current site plan that.
Okay, we got a thumbs up. This is the most current site plan.
So if there is going to be, if this was the site plan that's included in the staff report, is that correct as well? Because then there doesn't need to be an amended language if this is the site plan included as notated in the agenda.
And I'm sorry, Commissioners, just give me 1 second to verify what was in the staff report. I do apologize for the confusion here.
Am I remembering our conversation with the applicant correctly that the corner where it's touching the property line, that was going to be adjusted when the dumpster was moved over? Does it still look like it's touching the property line?
I mean, it looks like it's kind of touching it to me, but I mean,
Is that
and
a
staff,
setback
correct me
I'm
if I'm wrong, they wouldn't be able to actually, if it was actually over the property line, that would happen during plating. They wouldn't let them do that, right?
I don't mean over, but see the line with the boxes? Is that
Yeah.
now showing a setback, which I don't
That should be
believe
the
was on the other
setback,
one?
right?
It's 5 feet.
Yeah.
They left the utility easement only, so there's
Yeah.
none of
But I
what we would kind of see in a traditional setup, but I think this has been changed quite a bit because of the MU. That's across the face of Berry and kind of winds down to the top 2 properties right there. It's only A5 once you get to the 3rd lot. No, I touched my screen again. So that one is A5, the one that actually has it 5 feet away.
Okay.
I don't know if, and that's obviously going to have to get approved elsewhere.
Yeah.
They're
not going to be able to build into the setback, or they would have to fix it.
I'm just not, off the top of my head, I don't know what would need to be there, Dave, with that being A5. Is 5 feet as close as they can get, or is that just kind of out of sorts for this?
It seems peculiar that the fence is not on the property line, mainly in terms of a maintenance issue. If you have property outside of your fence, who maintains that? But just of note, they are still asking, they do still need a supplemental setback development standard, which is included in the request because they would normally not be allowed to park any vehicles in that supplemental building setback outside of daylight hours. But just of note, that is included in the request. And to clarify on the site plan, the packet had the original site plan, not the site plan that you see on the screen. So you would need to, if you choose to approve it, it would need to be amended to include the
updated site plan as shown. during, can we say that, Chris? The updated site plan that we saw that was shown during the hearing? Okay. Did you hear that, Commissioner Castro? Sorry. Yeah. All right. There's no more discussion. We are
Dave,
ready
does
for
A5 trigger at least a 5-yard buffer yard? Because it looks like the parking goes almost directly to the fence.
Right, they are within the supplemental building setback. So again, there's a 5-foot buffer yard within, that's within the supplemental building setback. And here, it looks like the issue is that the fence is on the wrong side of that buffer yard. It looks like they're putting that buffer yard on the neighbors or on the residential side of the fence to maintain. And again, it's just a peculiar layout that doesn't look like, to me, it's would.
Would that be because of an easement?
You typically don't have to fence out of an easement, but again, I don't know the details of the easement.
Can the easement and the buffer yard overlap, or does it have to be an addition?
The easement and the buffer yard can overlap, and again, that buffer yard is included within the supplemental building setback. It's just typically that landscape buffer yard is on the business side of the fence, and the fence is usually on the property line, not 5 feet off the property line.
So what's dividing this is a 6-foot wood fence with no space for any type of landscaping.
As shown here on this site plan, now PD site plans don't have the landscape in them, but again, they're not showing the room for the 5-foot buffer yard there.
Thank you.
Since this is a PD, could we, instead of site plan included, like to let y'all handle that and say site plan required?
I believe so, but I'll defer to Chris on, and Chris, the request is, or the question is, could the motion be site plan required to require?
That way that
a
staff
site
could
plan?
have they could have a last look at it and go, oh, you need to move this, and we're not up here trying to figure out which
So essentially what
detail
you're saying
this
is
is.
that there's issue, that you all are rejecting this site plan.
Well, I mean,
And
as
you're
is,
making-
the
because-
fence is in the wrong place. Like, it's just not right.
So, because if it goes to council and say site plan required, they're gonna have to come back through the zoning process and resubmit a new site plan.
Can the applicant address this for us?
Sure, yeah.
So the situation with the fence is that we do have a 5-foot utility easement that runs. You can actually see it noted on the second MU property if you look on your screen. And historically, what we've been told is that without an encroachment agreement with the city, we cannot put a fence into that. Since we haven't gotten to the point where we can file encroachment agreements because we don't have a case to file it with, we can't put it there right now. So then if we want to show it in the site plan where, like, up against the property line, we can, but then the contingency will be that we will have to seek an encroachment agreement from the city in order to do that.
In reality, how close is that, the closest parking lot to that property line?
Well, so the utility easement is 5 feet itself, and so there's 5 feet between the property line and the fence currently, and then there's probably an additional, like right up on that, like an additional 2 feet, so we're probably 7 feet, and we're more than happy. We can literally straighten that out and get more in between whatever we need to do to kind of keep that the distance. So I think the actual setback requirement is only that the supplemental setback parking has to not be non-daylight hours and cannot include the trash enclosure. So we'll have to just figure out exactly what the requirements are, because again, it's weird because it's like MU A5. So we just have to kind of figure out how to work the two different zonings that are adjacent. But that's not a big deal at all. We can move it. And then we can also move the fence if you'd like, with the contingency that the approval of that fence will be contingent on the city issuing us an encroachment agreement to encroach into that utility easement.
I'm tempted to, this is your call, but yeah, this is,
Tough. I think we're making it more complicated.
I know,
than it
yeah,
needs
that's what
to
I'm
be.
saying.
I mean,
We're starting to like look at
and it-
stuff that's,
the applicant is obviously very willing to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, she took the opposition's name and number, and I mean,
yeah, I mean, my bigger question again was, balancing, it's just the land use and balancing, hey, there's neighbors right there, but hey, it's also, this area needs some development and nothing's happening there. And this is, a lot better than I think the residents would.
They would love it.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is good. It's a good amenity for the people that live over there, and it's not a vacant lot anymore. And it's not exactly what is on our comp plan, but it's close. And it's something that someone's willing to build today and start getting some stuff done. I was just curious how you're going to balance. I don't know why we got the weeds so much, but I mean, there's the dumpster made a lot of sense, and then it just started looking funny.
So I guess
But,
with
yeah,
the
to make
whole
this-
site plan, do we still have to include the wording of with site plan required since we
You-
didn't have this in?
No, I think that then, because that's what Chris was saying, if we say required, they're going to have to go back, because they'll have to get one for council to approve, so that'll just delay things. So, it's your call, but.
They have to provide one at some point because of the PD, correct?
Right,
You don't have
right.
to talk about it, just like.
Right,
the one
it's
before.
included. And then the reason I'm not like so worried about exactly where this parking spot is because they're not, once they go to plating, they're not going to allow them to build it where it can't be done. So that's, I appreciate the comments and noticing that, but I think now we're just getting too far in the weeds, so.
Okay.
If you like it, go for it. If you don't,
I'll
do your thing.
go ahead and make a motion. For CC-25-206, I move to approve.
All right, we have a motion by
Second by the judge.
Commissioner Castro to approve and a second by Commissioner Rogers.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, motion passes.
And before we go to the next case, just real quick, for the opposition of that last case, you mentioned some light. Download the My Fort Worth app if you haven't already, and you can report that and take care of that. I would recommend doing that. That'll help you. And then any future issues you end up having, you can take care of it with that. So, yeah. Thank you for being here. All right, Dave?
Next case, ZC 26-057. This is a text amendment related to Senate Bills 840 and 2477. The applicant is the City of Fort Worth. The request is an ordinance amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance, being ordinance number 21653, as amended, of the City of Fort Worth codified as Appendix A of the Code of the City of Fort Worth 2015 by amending Chapter 4, District Regulations, Article 8, Section 4.803, Non-Residential District Use Table, and Article 12, Section 4.1203, Form-Based Code District Use Table, to add mixed-use residential of Chapter 218 of the Texas Local Government Code and multifamily residential, also referenced in Chapter 218 of the Texas Local Government Code, as new uses, and allow such uses in all commercial districts and certain form-based districts, amending Chapter 5, Supplemental Use Standards, Article 1, Standards for Selected Uses, to add Section 5.159, titled Mixed-Use Residential and Multifamily Residential Developments, pursuant to Chapter 218 of the Texas Local Government Code, and to establish regulations and development standards consistent with Chapter 218 of the Local Government Code concerning mixed-use and multifamily residential developments and conversion of buildings to multifamily or mixed-use residential. Amending Chapter 4, District Regulations, Article 13, Form-Based Districts, Section 4.1305, the Near South Side Development Standards and Guidelines, Section 4.1306, Camp Bowie District, Boulevard Revitalization Code, Section 4.1307, Trinity Lakes Development Code, and Section 4.1308, Berry University Form-Based Code, by adding an appendix to those form-based codes establishing regulations and development standards consistent with Chapter 218 of the Local Government Code concerning multifamily residential and conversion of buildings to multifamily residential or mixed-use residential. Amending Article 4 Overlay Districts, Section 4.402 Urban Design District Downtown, Section 4.403 Panther Island Peripheral Zone Overlay District, and 4.404 I-35 West Corridor Design Overlay District to revise the Downtown Urban Design Standards and Guidelines, Panther Island Peripheral Zone Overlay Zoning Standards and Guidelines, and I-35 Development Standards and Guidelines by adding an appendix to those overlay districts, standards, and guidelines establishing regulations and development standards consistent with Chapter 218 of the Local Government Code concerning multifamily residential, mixed-use residential, and conversion of buildings to multifamily residential or mixed-use residential.
All right, good job.
The mouthful.
All right, any questions for staff about this that weren't answered during the work session?
Mr. Chairman, if there's no discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve ZC 26057.
All right, we have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Edmonds and a second by Commissioner Robinson.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
And Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, motion passes. Next case, ZC-26-058. This is also a text amendment, and the applicant is the City of Fort Worth. The request is an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Fort Worth, being ordinance number 21653 as amended, codified as Appendix A of the Code of the City of Fort Worth, amending Chapter 4, District Regulations, Article 4, Overlay Districts, Section 4.401, Historic Preservation Ordinance, Historic Overlays, subsection 4.401C5, Procedures for Designation and Removal, and amending Chapter 2, Review Bodies, Section 2.100, Zoning Commission, subsection 2.100H, Powers and Duties, to clarify that the Historic and Cultural Landmarks Commission is the exclusive authority for recommending historic designations or removals thereof to the City Council.
Very good. All right, any questions for staff?
Mr. Chairman, if there are no questions, I'd like to move approval of ZC 26058.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Edmonds and a second by Commissioner Rogers, or sorry, not Rogers, Robinson, to approve this.
Commissioners, how do you vote? Chairperson Raines.
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Welch.
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy.
Aye.
Commissioner Edmonds.
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Rogers.
Aye.
Commissioner Werman.
Aye.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
With a vote of 10-0, motion passes.
All right, at this time, we will adjourn. Thank you all for being here and
Good night.
doing this service for your districts. Thank you all.